Hey, how the fuck is my shit not recorded? You not know who I am? My dad's the police. What? You don't know my dad? Alright, we're fucking in here now, bros. We're fucking in here now, fucking America. Who is this? This you, brother? Are you my Navy SEAL brother? Oh no, you died. You died. You're not Navy SEAL brother. You died. You're supposed to keep me alive, man.
Same thing. Always rip away tags.
You're supposed to be my Navy SEAL brother.
Recordings brought to you by TATICAL.
Look at that. Back neck hit. Sleeve.
I'm right behind you, Navy SEAL brother.
Frankenstein. Also, did you know you can also
Expected out-of-pocket costs,
now we're going to take this print.
which for those on Medicare were seen to be larger healthcare.
Add a Teflon sheet on top.
They are factor supplements from the underground. Why? Medicare alone doesn't for everything.
Let's lay this out.
What does pay
Where's my Navy SEAL brothers?
quickly add thousands of dollars
We're going in on Bravo, all units.
Medicare supplement plan. Health vaccines, that's what Medicare does.
Well, no, somebody fucking, they sabotaged the plane. This plane is from our Taliban. This plane is a Taliban plane. It's not my plane. Oh no, they're shooting at me, brother.
No luck.
The fucking Taliban is shooting at everybody.
The doctor. I'm stuck. Where it's
Somebody killed all the Taliban. We have to kill every last one of these motherfuckers and take their oil. We need all the oil.
Everywhere you go in the back.
This is not available.
Where's my team at? We need all the oil.
Because I'm special.
Sorry, people.
Oh, there's a vehicle. Oh no, I'm hit.
Information on this
Damn, Iraqi. Motherfucking Iraqi, kill me.
overwhelming, raising over $1 million. All right, I want you to go.
I was killed by an Iraqi. I was killed by an Iraqi that took all my money. Oh no, bail out, bail out.
I was ordering that.
Alright, all units, move on to Delta. There's multiple Taliban insurgents. Multiple insurgencies. There's multiple Taliban insurgencies on Delta. Damn, they own all the map, man. They're taking over the map. The fucking Taliban are everywhere. Enemy helicopter. Somebody shoot that fucking thing down. Right there, I got eyes on it. Almost hit his ass. Almost hit that fucking Taliban fucker. I'm gonna get this motherfucker. Fucking Taliban. Right there, man. Watch me get him. Watch me get him right here, right here. No, he went down. I was gonna get his ass. They owe me money. Fucking Taliban insurgencies owe me fucking money. Having sex with our women. They're fucking our women, boys. Uh-oh. Contact. Navy SEAL. Go on, Navy SEAL. Now, last night it wasn't. They must have changed something. Cause last night I was like, this shit's something. Today, my nigga? Taliban. Got his ass. Taliban having sex with our bodies. We got one of these Taliban fuckers. Maybe because I took a nap. I took a nap and I'm fucking fired up. Fired up now. Yesterday I was depleted. I was depleted yesterday, but now I'm fired up. I'm fired up, ready to kill all these fucking Arabs. We fucking owe me money. No, I died. A Taliban insurgency got me, man. Fucking Talibans. Taliban stealing, fucking having sex with all our women. We can't allow that to happen, bro.
Wait, I'm right.
Fucking tear this whole fucking building down to the fucking ground. Fucking Taliban. Like fucking Taliban fuckers. Motherfuckers. Having sex with our women. Man, this fucking cannon on this gun shoots slow as shit, huh? No, they're shooting at the boat. They're shooting at the fucking boat.
Wait.
Come back, run, bullet, I'm a fucking Navy SEAL.
Yeah, then, no.
I'm fucking drowning out here, I'm drowning, brother. That motherfucker got some chicken on his belly, dog. It's fucking fire is fucking like shit. But it's got a little explosion in it. It's got a little explosion in the house. Rain hell on these motherfuckers. Oh no, they fucking about to shoot it. Whoa, we got 3 agents. Whoa, flying free Well, I hear some broken woman music. Is that your music? What is this? What is this? What is this kind of woman? Motherfucker, don't you come over here with that shit. I'll fucking blow you out the sky, you motherfucker. You fucking Taliban. I wish this thing fired a little faster, though. Cause this thing is like... It's taking its... Whoa, I just almost killed that motherfucker. Here you go, fucking kill that motherfucker, man. He owes me money. All these motherfucking Arabs owe me money. I want that all. I need that all.
Which some the manufacturer.
Man, this thing fires like too slow. What the fuck did they do to it?
It's full opportunity.
This thing fucking swallowing like Aunt your mama. There you go. We can take this thing over with the boat. We can take it over with the boat. Oh, there he is. There's that motherfucker. Get that motherfucker. He owes you money. All these motherfuckers owe me money. These motherfuckers owe me money. Oh, they're all on alpha, bro. Fucking light this thing up. So this stupid ass fucking mortar is like Mexican. There you go. Get that motherfucker. He owes me money. There's another one. They're gonna blow us up, brother. Abandon ship. Abandon ship. Abandon ship.
Pointing here, high. On the moon.
250th anniversary. DMAD spotlights the company Rome with the nation. What's incredible to think about the fact that operated across 4 centuries of American history and all of the innovations that occurred during that time. The nation also
Bro, this cannon is useless.
CEO of being what? 1789, President Washington was inaugurated. Alexander Hamilton was the first Secretary of the Treasury, just installed in his post. I believe in establishing the credit of the nation and ensuring that the United States would be able to come together as one country. And because the Bank of New York at the time and why the money to the nation to
This fucking goddamn thing is useless.
the United States as a new nation to be able to go about business from the country.
Doing your own, brother, so this thing is useless.
Bank of New York for some innovation.
Well, shit, somebody shot us. Somebody shot at me, motherfucker. You motherfucker.
The merchants gathered on the buck tree 2 years later in 1792. Bank of New York actually got traded on the exchange. Put behind the package.
I like the gun though, it's cool looking,
Now,
but it is firing like super cool. And then it has like no fucking arc on this shit.
in the United States, nation, the reality that when we put together Oliver, the set of nations,
Yeah, how do you boost the velocity?
story of the United States of America with the waves would dedicated expert. That was pretty good. If you're on Medicare, can you get this? End up with this. Unexpected out-of-pocket costs.
Oh shit.
If you're not on Medicare, we don't understand this. It's Medicare loan.
No!
Yeah, it's thousands of dollars a year.
Man, I unlocked something though.
That's some plans.
But we did it right, brother.
And making your out-of-pocket costs a lot.
This map, man, they need more maps like this, bro. This is what we wanted. Frankers.
Plan up.
We need good ass, stupid, dumb maps.
Yeah.
Like, crazy. Taliban. No, make that Taliban motherfucker.
It's not going to work. No referral. You get it. It's not. Well,
That's fucking Bradley is no deals. No, this fucking shit my We're back in the boat.
plan to win. Where you go in
Look at our home. Oh no.
government plans.
Damn, bro, they got our number. They know who we are now. They got our meeting.
South 13.
God damn it, first be killing one of these motherfuckers. I need money.
Fine.
Me and Frosty are about to fucking take over the game right now. Me and you, Frosty, we're going all the way Taliban. Fucking Talibans are everywhere. He's right there, he just jumped on a pickle suit. Jumped on his pickle suit, fucking Taliban. Got his ass. I just got one of those motherfuckers. He fucking owed me money. He owed me money. I got it.
Or brings microchips because and corrosion kills hardware.
I'm about to get a helicopter.
NASDAQ state ERIV launching Trinopia, a high-precision microchip
Hey, this is like a drone.
decade
Left and right, and get your up and down for your drone.
addressing a rapidly
Then you want to pitch it.
market. Trinity Biotech, a NASDAQ company, stock symbol
We
TRV.
do expand and increase the FPV. Well, pushed out FPVs. I know how to fly a drone, man. I've been flying drones. I've been flying drones since you before you were born, boy. I know you down here. You never
I'm gonna.
I'm waiting for you, goddamn door. And your daddy, we're goddamn daddy.
For details, accredited investors only, but many people are accredited and may not know it. Give them a call to find out if you qualify.
I'm your goddamn daddy.
You'll like investing in America's future.
About 12 minutes until the closing bell. Let's get back to Stevens or we'll get these stocks swapped. Hey, love the AT&T shares meetings. Next quarter, Public said it's got consumer postpaid wireless accounts.
I got never seen it. I'm getting shot at and I'm never seeing moving fire.
And a 26% decline.
Who's gonna put some fucking burgers in the ground? Why do you motherfuckers put some burgers in the garden? Some burgers on the barbie so we can have some fucking dinner. Man, we gotta kill all these fucking Taliban, man. There's fucking Taliban everywhere and you fucking cunts. You cunts are not fighting for America right now. But Donald Trump would not be proud. We gotta make Papa Trumpy proud. I'm bailing out. I'm bailing out. I'm bailing out. Oh shit. These motherfuckers can see me. No, I'm not. Look, they're fucking like bitches. Fucking bitches. They're fucking too bad. No birds. Fucking birds everywhere.
Come on,
No birds having sex with our women. I'm gonna get you, you little motherfucker. You think you're fucking the police?
Wait.
You think you're the motherfucking police?
759.
Damn, this is like F-16's fucking rhythm line.
We do better on our clients. Go now, bring the topics we're talking about.
Tom Cruise. Damn, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is every goddamn friend Maverick. Damn it, Maverick. Damn, did we lose? Yeah.
7-7.
We lost that one, boys.
So at first, pay your month.
Everybody being able to work downhill like on your own. Let's have those. Guys, we gotta fight for what we believe in next time, bro.
That does align to that private. That quiet, understand separate, all in one place. That does align to recognize this private household. That's why we create a nurture life. Yes, sort of graphical, practical, designing manner. Helping kids build healthy habits and body, bite by bite. Nurture life.
When you're on the go, make sure you take Flex Seal everywhere you go. Anything can happen. Just a quick shot, and Flex Seal can repair your feet.
I need to have this map in the snow. We need to do a snow version. This would be fucking crazy. We put fucking snow everywhere.
On the water. You're going. Because Flex Seal can get you there safe and dry. Get the Flex Seal family of products. These fine retailers. Tap into the data you need to see the market your way. Introduce the new power.
They're fucking Chinese. There's fucking Chinamen everywhere.
You said they fighting.
Fucking China. Fucking Chinamen. Whoa, does he listen to an album? Got a dad. It's so fucking big.
The Market Zone is sponsored by E-Trade for Mortgage. Claim elevate your trading with our E-Trade Pro.
You got a dead eye, man. That's what they call the police.
Support is needed on the marked objective.
Found today. Got it. Definitely I didn't want a little bit about the hive of second, for example. I was more just kind of jogging in place, waiting for the yeah.
My leg.
Majority of stocks were
I'm fucking a Navy SEAL.
internal turn under this market.
I'm a motherfucking Navy SEAL.
Big world, being this magnet that I've had for a couple of months. I think we're going to know a lot.
Man, they should let you dive, man. They should let you dive into the water like Call of Duty, dude. That's all this thing is missing now. I used to dive into the water like a Navy SEAL.
From the perspective, not break this down. It's going to be great. Thank you so much. Let's look at the text at Alpha Bed. They're scared. I'm not taking a little blow.
And you just move up and engage the enemy. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. We have to take over the Chinese mainland. Wuhan, Xi Jinping. We're gonna fucking kill all the fucking Asians. There will be no more fried rice in this fucking town. You see anybody fucking cooking fried rice? Nobody in this up, motherfucker! You didn't want me, money? What's that man love me? You fucking running around with that fucking motorcycle. That motherfucker. Run this motherfucker down. Run him down, he owes me money. He owes me money. You owe me money. Get that motherfucker.
Just everything. In fact, over the past 4 months, stock has moved less than 2%. But looking at tricky for traders is that last time the stock struggled its implied boom with a huge 10% rally after earnings. But today we see more bets that global volatility will come down, being traders will face a move of that size. Now, 5.5% implied move is big there. Oliver, thank you. Let's get to go about 48 last look at Tesla.
When you look at Tesla, there's going to be some key numbers I think you should focus on aside from the expected.
There's nothing everywhere.
You run down that list, a couple of things, auto growth fucking very well late. I mean, about 18.5%. What do you say about CyberCab and Optimus production and CapEx spending? What's the guidance there? Keep in mind, the analysts call this where you really get the news that Tesla shares after hours, because Elon Musk will be on that call. Expect a lot of questions about Optimus, Robotaxi, CyberCab, and of course, AI. Guys, it's a beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good one to listen to. So, thanks so much. Let's bring in JT Morgan, Jack Manley. Jack, we're moments away from Alpha, and I know you have said ability AI down.
Man, this game is starting to come of age. It's starting to finally come of age.
Before the narrative.
On the ball was there. There's no way to get around this in an AI-dominated market. But for me, what was so interesting, the conversation I've definitely scripted over the past.
It's all starting to fucking flow together now.
Right? Was to the company when basically anything that comes up here for it's the fact that they're constantly worried about profitability, and as they should be, that ROI is just not there. But just profitability and even raised questions about leverage anything. It's questions about generating free cash flow, about financing. It's definitely not like already has get over the course of any earnings season. How are these companies able to finance things extraordinary amounts of capital and do it in a utter qualified risky way? Steadily revive fire. We are talking about a 21st century space race. There is no doubt about that parallel. They wrote a great book very recently called The Right Stuff, all about what happened with breaking sound barrier all the way up, putting that outer space, and that exuberance that we experienced back in the 40s and 50s to the 60s, 80s, right here again today. Spend anything to be the first. It doesn't matter as long as you break that barrier. So much that they tolerate a lot of spend. As long as Shangri-La is somewhat not so. Higher oil and higher yield right now. I am, frankly, because when you think about what's done, not when things are going on, like we are at my companies, we are talking about companies that have long-term growth plans, sort of speculative plans, AI is going to dominate everything, and when you take that back, it's sort of off the ground growth conditions. Well,
And totally having to ring the opening bell this morning. Something over the Dow up a tiny bit, slow loss. The S&P 500 downside down nearly 0.5%. The Russell was about 1%.
Google, Tesla, what, Turner now, IBM, and what, bring you those results out of the economy.
Once that initial flurry dies down, that is when the conference call starts. 4:30 Google, CSX, Las Vegas Sands, Texas Instruments all begin their calls. So truly, this is the calm before the storm. But it was a really interesting session. The 10-year yield beats CSN's May high there. Oil was higher, yet we had this sort of wait and see. We did have that Paul pass over the software sector with the Pegasus report earlier this morning. So ServiceNow is weak going into the earnings report. IBM was weak, Microsoft was weak.
You saw conviction kind of leak out of waiting trade over the course of the day. Semis were up 1% at the beginning, and they kind of finished really at their lows of the day. Some of the speculative stuff really taking on some water space, like making new load. So all that in the mix, it seems like preliminary until we get the numbers, figure things out. I think with a little bit of a fault of confidence added by the AFP and rocket fuel reporting, and so maybe the hardware trade.
Yeah, and the Oliver Rennick had reported, the option market is only expecting less than a 2% move up or down, and shares on top of that. But we've seen on that 5.5, 5.5, this is 5.5. We've seen much bigger ones than that out of mega cap company on earnings.
Yeah, I mean, because the fundamentals of it all, the fundamentals have a lot of probability in terms of CapEx being ramped and exactly what the product growth, for example.
And should be an interesting hour ahead. I'm going to wait those after the bell reports. Get a recap of the big movers today. Seeing loads got that for email. So the countdown is on. In fact, the video was the only 97 days to trade higher on the day's third straight day gains for NVIDIA. And CEO Jensen Huang this fear at times to be emergence of Chinese open source models. In their interview with Axios, NVIDIA now trading at best levels since June. I'm closing up by 2.3% on the day. It comes as its partners from Micro said received more than $60 billion in the AI server fourth quarter, including a new customer, SpaceX. Supermicro is surging by 20% on the day, with a reversal in software was notable as we await crucial reads on the sector of the past year. And news of the OpenAI model trading on behalf of developer Hugging Face still provides meaningful to names like Paul, so his price strike on the day, but would note those stocks have been over the past month. GE Renova raising its revenue guidance amid strong demand from the hyperscaler for gas turbines, but Wall Street really was left wanting more, seeing the guidance rate that conservative CEO Scott Basic telling CNBC that geopolitics will contribute to costs being elevated, stock closing down by nearly 9%. Finally, EQT, seeing a mixed quarter, CEO Toby Wright highlighting a raise in production guidance and decrease in CapEx during overtime yesterday. Shares higher by around 8% on the day, guys. Thank you.
All right, Tina, thanks very much. How we're going to all now? Going through those numbers, but in the meantime, you see the stock just on the flat line. Gil, what frequency you going to look like? So, well, it's growing.
What is got that motherfucker?
These targets for global last quarter, they can grow faster than that. That's a very good sign. And we hit the number, the $60 back and forth.
We're seeing shares fractionally higher. Top revenue at $119.8 billion versus $150.93 billion that was expected for Q2 revenue. EPS, this is a GAAP number of $9.11. We are not comparing that to the estimate here because in the quarter, it's on $99 billion equity securities fees. Cloud revenue, this is the big question going into the print. We're seeing an 82% jump year over year to $24.8 billion versus $22.24 billion of revenue discovery on CapEx. $20.92 billion. Estimate there. I'm going to keep digging into these numbers and come back again.
Thank you very much. Well, there you go. 82% year-over-year growth in cloud revenue. I guess there were some whispers of plus 75, maybe at the outer. So obviously, what? Yeah, it's one part of that problem. But the rate of that profit has been staggering. Company that started at less than 10 billion in run rate at the end of last year is now likely at more than 7 billion run rate. 6 or 7 months later, guess what? Google and Amazon are their big providers. So that's flowing through. And I'm guessing the security thing has to do either with the taking Anthropic or SpaceX. Exactly. It's a very good investment for Alphabet. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Grant, what will you be, we're coming to the numbers at this point, but what will you be looking at sort of seeing whether that return on investment metric can be found in this release?
Well, you're not going to find it in this release, so let's not focus on when you look at how it feels that, the convert to beat on cloud was massive. The win part of it was 75, the street was at 65, so 82 is a 10% beat. Search is in line, 17% growth in YouTube, beat by 2.5%. Okay, so basically, 44.9 versus 344.7. So the only thing I've seen in the numbers is margin, it's a little bit lower, 39 versus 40. But when you look at the cloud, you look at search in line, YouTube being by 3, kind of the right line. It's like it was right down the middle, stable, steady. I think we hoping for more. But look, it was you call it a 200-yard drive. It was not a 300-yard drive that we've seen. So and I think that's why it's not trading on. Yeah, and of course, the CapEx for the last quarter was about in line. You're not necessarily going to give us a new number for that. So what do you think it's going to be the next, the inflection in street sentiment, or what's going to kind of maybe add a little confidence, if anything, out that story in the absence? A couple of things that you talked about are selling chips. Yeah, and we're excited about them selling GPUs. That's really a windfall. All they have to do is get a little bit more allocation, mark it up, and that's a business they were never in before, so that's incremental benefit. There's going to be a healthy discussion about Gemini. Why did not do that? Why did other fucking that maybe seal? And he still be the state of the art one? That's a very important question. Gemini was the state of the art one. We were talking about what we're doing at Gemini. Now we're talking about what they're doing in cloud.
How much of a business do you think the chip business will be? Because Amazon actually outlined how big they thought the run rate on chips would be for them.
Yeah, they did that because Google started selling chips. So I would say that Google's GPUs are better than Trainiums. So the market, if Amazon thinks they can sell $50 billion worth of Trainium, Google could probably sell more than that. Brad, and in terms of Gemini, where'd you do it?
I can't find them.
Is pushing the frontier for model performance kind of worth it? You also have, and Bill alluded to, I don't 14% of Anthropic, which is kind of competing with to try and push that limit. So where does that stand in terms of whether investors want to see the Google continue to push that way?
Yeah, I think, look, Gemini is really good at certain things. Good, it continues that I do hold on as well, but the beauty is the partnership with Anthropic, they did both workloads, like Steven have their own volume push out. I think I don't know infrastructure, I don't know where that has to land with Anthropic, so just like
the audio quality is not great. You can't really make out what you're doing, so we'll try and get that straightened out. The thing we should know have results crossing the wires from IBM as well as Tesla. It's a very busy afternoon. We're going through all those numbers and bring them to you as we have them. We got a couple more headlines out of the Alphabet report field that I want to ask you about. The Gemini app has 950 million monthly active users, and also Gemini models now process 22 billion API tokens per minute. Shows power of their AI model.
Over now, $6 billion run rate. Well, that's what happens. Far leading the so I keep it running going, but that means Gemini is worth it just for that. I think McKinsey has
Here, that search and other revenue category, which is a key reason probably that market, but we're not generative AI that's cannibalizing what still remains their core revenue and profit and that came in flight investments of $63.3 billion versus $63.42 billion expected. YouTube revenue actually breaking a losing streak here in terms of missing the street's expectations. That's coming in at $11.1 billion, which is a beat over the $10.81 billion expected. It looks like not seeing backlog hit the release like we did last quarter. Remember, last quarter then jumped over $460 billion, so they're not singling that out this time. You can get that on the comment. The other thing I would point to is that other event revenue, where Waymo lives, it's again a miss, just like it was last quarter, coming in at $382 million versus the $401.3 million expected. And well, doesn't offer formal guidance. You should get more color on the call. We talked about 20 minutes now.
Nancy, thank you. Another little wrinkle, it seems Google had said they did not sell any equity on the $80 billion at the money offering. So that's challenging. That's a no-brainer. I was going to ask you. Yeah, we've been talking to investors all week, and whenever we talk about Google, they say, wait. They have to tell us they're going to issue equity. It's an overhang because even if they just do this over the balance of the year, it's still maybe 5 to 7% of the big flow. But investors don't want to hear that. They want to hear that it's done, capital's been raised, and we don't have that.
All right. In terms of how you project these results onto other stocks you cover.
The really big one is Microsoft, right? Because for them, this is a fiscal year end. So we are going to get CapEx guidance for the next 12 months.
Well, they're just telling me that they're paying money or what the fuck?
Let's call it anywhere between 20 and 30%. The AI party, if they grow more than 40%, they're going to be backlash. Because Apple is only going to be 45%. They can't grow CapEx fast as that. If they say anything about CapEx maybe declining, the AI trade's going to go. So we think they're going to go right down the fairway, guiding for CapEx growth into the next fiscal year, put a concrete number behind that, 50 to 300 maybe. And I think then everybody can feel like, yes, we're getting return on investment. Yes, we're building data center. The AI trade.
Right, Gil, thank you.
I'm not everybody using my gun, man. I started this shit.
Percent here. The conference call again kicks off.
You want to stay using my guns, man. There's been a special build. It's like a special build just for this map. And someone got it. Somebody's trying to run my build.
Yes. People said that. Explain exactly how that happened. It did better than expected at $28.24 billion. The street is expecting $25.7 billion. A couple of numbers within the numbers from Tesla in the second quarter.
$3.12 billion was the revenue from energy storage, and I'm expecting 3.5 or a little over 3.5 billion.
Fucking hit the roach. Fucking heal the little bird. So yeah.
For 8 million, for 2Q, that's a 200,000 or 1.28 million. At the end of Q1, capex spending came in at 5.78 billion, shy of expecting at 6.2. A couple of things regarding their guidance. MIXTYPE pre-production is unprecedented this year, and the first production line for Optimus production, which we know they were working on out Fremont, have been they're in the process of putting those in to begin production later this year. But again, Tesla 33 cents a share, guys, which is below the street expectation of 51 cents a share. We're going to take back into the numbers. We'll have more on that.
All right, Phil, thank you. IBM earnings also out. John Ford. Like, yeah, I'm not surprised you stuff was good. That's quite fine to it.
We are targeting objective Bravo.
Not it might be why the stock up here. I get to speak with the CEO Arlen Krishna. He said that the full year revenue forecast is 4 to 5%. He said, which is probably a good point and a half above where the estimates are for the affirmation of our conviction and our strategy and strength of our portfolio. Then signals that we're getting from clients going forward. I also spoke to Arlen about the general environment, about free source model, open rate model, specifically on open source. He said he sees that just being a healthy thing. And in general, though, it's more so in the US, perhaps more so overseas. IBM is getting into open rate model, and customers want more affordable ways to go with it.
Did he talk to you at all about the drop-off towards the end of the quarter, John, in terms of signing those contracts for software?
He did indeed, and wanted to put that into the context of what didn't drop off. He said that the place where we got surprised wasn't one really narrow part of the portfolio, which had clients so small support the software has been affected. 80% is already annuity, that they're really doubling down on growing that area that they'll get.
You get a sense that these were revenues that were deferred and not denied, or they denied?
I was able to get that sense from it. This is kind of a steady shift within the enterprise, particularly when the memory issues. He said that when it comes to memory, it's something not so much constrained. When it comes to storage, IBM themselves are constrained. So they believe that they can either win through this, they can sell more storage if they had more access to NAND flash. But they wasn't an inward upstep within their model. He said that he and the CFO plan on the call get lots of questions about the guy going forward with the breakdown of hardware and software, consulting, how that expected to grow. So really what he's expecting to do is project at least steady as she goes mentality after that big surprise that they reported when they did the pre-out. But no more into the model into this role.
The enemy has secured more objectives. Let's strike back.
Considering it seems, based on everything he has said, kind of hit the hiccup, and maybe, not something that's going to really be knocking the IBM strategy off course. A dramatic reaction. I want to get out and see you're getting a little bit back right now. So I just wonder, what investors most want to hear out of management here, which well, my friend, on the house right now, when it comes to software resistant things, can make you jump in. Sometimes something really scary is happening. Seen these transitions before, whether it was in web back 25 years ago, whether it a little jump turn into a real problem. You don't want to protect one. Sometimes they have real great bits and ability into this. and then the macro trends. But right now, it seems like Auburn is trying to project, hey, if this was an issue, we don't see this particular issue becoming really endemic, and he's projecting confidence into the future. You mentioned Pegasystems earlier. I'm certainly watching that one too, because it also brought the same kind of big-frame movement that IBM, the business represents that I'm talking about. They got and a percentage Pegasystems had to deal with that. It affected their second half revenue.
We are objective Foxtrot.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that, John. Thank you. Don't miss the first on CNBC interview with IBM CEO tomorrow at 10 a.m. on 1200, of course. I'm on Krishna. So, John, you've also got ServiceNow, too. ServiceNow is 3.9, that you see up to 6%, which we're talking about software. Yes, needs as well as 90 cents adjusted for 85 cents expected. I would have a chance to speak with ServiceNow CEO, Bill McDermott, and he spoke specifically about growth that they're seeing in cybersecurity. Wanted to point that out. He said we're now the fastest growing cybersecurity company in the world enterprise software. We're now the 8th largest cybersecurity company in the enterprise. And we talked about what's been happening in the July experience with Parkinson's over the AI stuff. We would have been able to prevent that with our control tower. I asked them about M&A. He said they're growing organically at this point in cybersecurity after the acquisition. All that stuff, but I can tuck in here and there. So wanted to point the guide here. Now, that's its own. There's a few things in the federal. Don't pay too much attention to that. That's just really an accounting blip in there. But pay attention to, from his perspective, that they're raising in their confidence on the demand for their AI. ServiceNow AI has really crossed that $1 billion ACV run rate that's continuing to go beyond that. And I asked them specifically about, okay, this instead the enterprise away from some companies for AI infrastructure. Why isn't ServiceNow getting hit by it? He said he continues to see and believe that they're really in the where customers want to be for their AI spend energy. And so that's one thing these numbers, certainly assuming contract will saw Pegasus yesterday, but perhaps that's a little bit of interesting different ways where it's just not all one surplus.
John, thanks for that breakdown. John Fort in San Francisco. Let's get back to David Davidson, Head of Technology Research. Gil Laurie, you've got a buy rating on ServiceNow. I mean, the stock is recouping basically what it lost in the session. Gil, do you think it's clear? All things are clear now that they've got that quarterly report out?
They are for ServiceNow. I think you're right for this. ServiceNow is a very good company. Well, it has little to do with AI. I know they're going to talk about AI a lot, but it really has to do with them executing well in their core businesses. They just made two very good acquisitions with all this reports. Those are turning out to be very good opportunities for them to add sales. That's why they have accelerating growth, which is something we can say about very few software companies. Right? Only the software companies that have direct exposure to AI, College, Datadog, Snowflake, have accelerated growth. Now we can add ServiceNow to that one. Because by the way, all the other software companies have been accelerated. And when we saw from IBM and Pega, we're likely to see a lot of growth. We're likely to hear a lot about that crowding out. AI is taking not that we're replacing software with AI, it's that we're replacing spend on any other technology that's not AI with spend on coding. And so the fact that ServiceNow is to rise above that tells us how good of a company. I guess that has to be the battle. And I mean, it seems as if there's a line of thinking that says customers are now going to be incentivized to push for better pricing and push back against a lot of seat-based, fees and all that. But for ServiceNow, they're talking a lot about it. And importantly, in this world, they're helping companies organize their information.
And more actually fucking on.
In support operations around supply chain.
That's important whether or not you're using it. So you who are using ServiceNow, as well as agents will be using ServiceNow. So they have a very important role to play. And that way they're standing out. But again, I think there's going to be a lot of other software companies with values that
Expect to see any sort of hiccups in the results as it transitions to a hybrid
Damn, our squad was the top squad.
seat-based.
Top squad? They were the top squad, bro.
fluctuation. But
Okay, god damn it, the fucking guy was stupid shit. Fucking shit.
they're in like let us sit on top of the AI. They were trying to
That's right.
work with us. Microsoft ServiceNow will get you to the moon, but then you don't have to share all your information. You don't have to give them all your secret intellectual property, and you don't have to risk that if the government holds stable and you can't use it anymore, your business will fail. If you're sitting on something else, then we can just plug in a different one. ServiceNow is in that very small and unique good club.
Gil, thanks for your analysis. Appreciate it. Gil Laurie of EA Davidson. And do not miss your an exclusive interview with ServiceNow CEO coming up at 6 p.m. on Mad Money.
All right, Texas Issue attorney for now. All right, for $2.14 a share, by 21 cents. Revenue of $1.46 billion. For third quarter guidance, a better than expected on both earnings and revenue. Despite all that, stock lower after hours down by about 0.3%. It is up about 70% so far.
Busy few minutes of earnings. They got reports to react to. Test down a couple percent following its results. More on that name as we hear from Elon Musk on the conference call. Your work, you come to Bell every time live to the NASDAQ marketplace.
With pricing uncertainty, staying invested with confidence can be hard. Find outcome ETFs deliver an innovative approach, taking downside protection with upside opportunity. Go first and launch a suite of defined outcome ETFs with the relentless expertise and rigor of Goldman Sachs. Find outcomes, relentless innovation. Innovator ETFs from Goldman Sachs Asset Management.
When I started Wolfdog and Doggo Labs, I needed a website. And GoDaddy Hero uses AI to make a beautiful website so fast it'll blow my customers' noggin. While they're shopping for noggins for their noggin.
Guys all the time. Until I tried Eucora. Eucora's Flex Advanced Plus helps reduce the risk of recurrent UTI. I take Eucora everywhere I go. It works very well. Delicious and effective. Visit Eucora.com to learn more. It's so cheap. It's automatic.
Okay, we're taking objective Alpha. We now control more objectives. Secure our defenses. The enemy has taken hotel.
You know you man. Get your ass up, soldier. No dying in my army. There's no dying in my army.
Our forces are attacking Charlie.
Another look at shares of Tesla down by 2.7%, continuing to fall on the back of second quarter results that showed a beat on revenues, but a miss on EPS. The company also reporting joining us now, Seth Goldstein. Good morning, Seth. Great to have you with us. Products are on schedule. Why do you think the stock was down?
Contact the enemy boat. Drive.
On the bottom line, we see that happen for AI-related companies.
The enemy boat.
Earnings season, for example, once the earnings numbers come through, the stock reacts typically to an EPS versus consensus estimate until the call starts. And that's ultimately where the stock goes later tonight and tomorrow when the regular market hours begin.
depend on what Elon Musk and management team get today about their long-term growth plan. So where FSD and robot FD documents are going, if we hear positive long-term outlook that these products are coming to the market quicker than anticipated, I think the stock will recover. But if we see delays to the stock and during the announcement that we don't have a tangible optimist event this year, if Robotax continues to face delays, then I think we'll see the stock fall at the open tomorrow.
I can almost guarantee you're going to get a positive long-term outlook. Full self-driving, I guess the question is the cadence of it from here. There is a certain, I guess, pattern to where there is this reaction to the numbers themselves, and then maybe they rebuild as people catch on to the story. But if you broaden it out, stocks were what 5 years ago, roughly.
Walking up on Chuck, be aware. Pulling them down. What's up, son? You ready to be wow. Well, then we got a man down, Marine down on the beach. Get into this up.
Lost control of objective Charlie.
Moving out, boys. We're moving out.
Defensive position needed on the marked objective.
Lower than 10. We hear dodgy things on the
Okay, go take that zip line secure. Whoa, hit him, man. Whoa! Nice night, nice night.
There's a Vic over here.
Moving up on Foxtrot.
in order for the stock to work.
Which new product do you think would power the stock the most in terms of
Strike,
line when they're upstairs?
Even though it's still in the somewhat
flying in this helicopter floating down.
continues to grow, its number of people per working. It continues to scale, and I think that'll happen.
Everybody's running fucking silencers on this. Alright, everybody running fucking silencers on this bitch,
Move to attack the marked objective.
Numbers around. What do they think?
We secure Delta. All units be advised.
It's going to be just businesses. Is it going to
Get back on Foxtrot in the hotel.
what's the robot seeing going to look like? I think the market starts to get excited about that. That's the stock. But as of right now, the Alchemist event has been delayed, and so I think Robo's going to be the product to get the market getting excited about that.
All right, yeah. Think we'll hear about consumer robot as a service. Good talk here. That's all. Las Vegas Sands earnings are out. That Brewer has the numbers for that.
Yeah, this has been a rough ride for Las Vegas Sands as Lady Luck turns against the house here. Revenue misses at $3.15 billion against expectations of $3.3 billion. Earnings per share came in at 59 cents adjusted, but the street expects 75 cents. While revenue at Marina Bay Sands and Singapore was in line, the margins compressed, both prospects to not So EBITDA, the key earnings metric in gaming, missed both in Singapore and in Macau, where not only was it bad luck, it was also that casinos were competing with World Cup for attention and for discretionary spending, and it turns out that lifts the glamour of Macau is no competition for the fervor of soccer. On the upside here for investors, Sands purchased almost $800 million in shares this quarter, and the board has authorized another $6 billion in buybacks. This is typically a seasonally slow quarter, but here you're really taking about 10 the shares are off by with that.
That's making
Oh, that's right.
coming out. You know them from the biggest earnings. That 7 happened. In fact, really nearly $90 a barrel more on what I drive oil. And
And we want to show you a control base body bringing the closing bell at Sevo in Chicago a few minutes ago, ending a regular day for alternate trade. Thank you.
Your clients look to you, you look to T. Rowe Price. If we stay agile, actively managing
What happened to the game just crashed?
opportunities, ethical ETFs designed to outperform the environment. That's the power of curiosity. Better can lead to better solution for them. T. Rowe Price, investment confidence.
Innocents of eagle bred for lab testing are trapped in cages, screaming to be saved. They need help now. iPod Rescue is a nonprofit founded by legendary business activist Carl Icahn.
Research is being done on these dogs, and it's cool and unnecessary. Now with AI, they don't have to torture these valves. Eagles are most commonly used because of their gentle, trusting nature. Think about that. Their greatest quality is being used against them. With your support, we had a historic breakthrough. I4 Rescue Network helps save over 2,000 eagles and cut down the second largest breeding facility in the country. The fight is not over. We intend to keep going until every cage is empty.
Your donation of $19 will help rescue, treat,
Yeah, bro, we were doing good in that, man.
Right now, I'm not managing the building that comes in.
treat, and end the crisis in animal care.
Call 1-800-382-3788 or visit iPodRescue.org. Carnival connecting millions of guests to moments of fun. Uses powers that
I am the captain.
8.6 billion online transactions a year. So we help Carnival fund flowing seamlessly from booking to boarding and beyond. All while delivering reliability and security that is grown with Carnival from the first ship to a global fleet for almost 50 years and counting.
If you are celebrating this 250th year, you need to reflect how better have in order to protect the nascent industry of the United States. The public treasury, Black Box, it's a young intern, never miss the moment.
You know, that's some of this technology, have this technology, or embedded in enterprise. I don't look like a fault. I think that's a threat. Haven't been alphabetic position for a while.
JP Morgan Chase CEO and Chairman Jamie Dimon, when they buried the announcement.
Each 300,000 treasurers for all the next to build chips in the next 5 or 10 years. So we're helping finance people who train people.
Let's get this CNC News update with Seema Modi. Seema.
I might be FDA for an outbreak tied to a product that has not yet been identified. The agency has not named the specific food source, but said federal health officials are continuing to trace back work cyclosporin is a parasite that can cause severe stomach illness. The National Hurricane Center says tropical storm Bertha has made landfall and off the coast of New Orleans. Forecasters say Bertha packed 45 miles per hour sustained winds at landfall with stronger gusts. Officials say the main impacts are expected along coastal Louisiana with winds, flooding, and occasional heavy rain. And a new report from the Office of Government Accountability shows a sharp rise in Amazon and gig economy workers who rely on SNAP and Medicaid. The Washington Post reports Amazon workers on those programs nearly tripled from 2020 to 2025, while ride-hailing and delivery companies now rank among the top employers of aid recipients after barely appearing on the list in 2020. Melissa? Seema, thanks, Seema Modi. Coming up, what we learned from what we've heard of earnings so far as conference calls are getting underway for Alphabet and others will bring you all the things you need to know. Thanks for closing bell overtime.
Nvidia Invest, bought by television. It comes from navigating the world in 125 years of market cycle. I'm not sure what's in the public not finding realistic private houses. Finding
It's looking down the flat.
but I have no idea how to make liquid social media. I'll go to a hero use AI to create sort of content and they're like, this was all God, no, like, the radiance from all God. It was the stock market that started history's greatest way for promoting me. From factory workers in Detroit to farmers in Omaha, anyone could own a piece of the great American company. But today, our most famous companies are private farmers, which means everyday Americans are missing out. Until now, introducing BCX, the public ticker for private tech. I don't need to know about it.
Thank you for Tony Frank with Insight Sports.
Well, thanks, Trey, for the help. Yeah, if you make it a double, I got a lot of treasure. Great crypto on E-Trade today.
Alright, we have
Join the
secured
club.
intel.
I'm a veteran of that. Like, his whole life, he's done whatever it takes to be psychotic. And he brings all of that to you in the club. Join the club and get a free notifications for his book. Go to cnbc.com/book.
We have secured Foxtrot. We currently hold more objectives. Our forces are close to taking territory. The enemy have taken more objectives.
There's a hostile machine gun in your area.
Steamboat is head of the hyperscaler earnings report for now, and now it's close to the rest of the big meeting next week. In time to dive back in big tech. Joining us now is Tony Emanuel, former ISIP Managing Director in the equity derivative and quant strategy team. We all we talk about is how this market has been just kind of stuck in place at the index level. Different parts of the market fighting to withdraw. I'm underneath it almost every day. Earnings are coming through. Is it resilience or is it speed? It's literally the old football analogy of the handoff to the running back who gives you 3 yards and a clouded dot flag. You're moving the ball forward. And frankly, when you think about today, you think about 10-year yields nudging towards 470, and you think about oil having basically from the high 60s, now where are we, 86, 87 today, looking more like 90 than anything else. It is absolutely a sign of resilience and speaking to the earnings power, because we've been getting a lot of questions about whether this is an earnings bubble. And if you believe that the AI cycle is going to be done in the next 2 quarters, which we do not, you can expect movement on Delta. That has power into at least mid-2027, if not early 2028.
At what point do rates snap? At what point does oil go higher back? Or does it not? Seems like it would be very far even more on the earnings season for the stock market to power higher in spite of effect.
Which again is why we're having this sideways chop. And say that these macro inputs don't matter is when you know the market's going to start to fall out of bed. From our point of view, when we saw the initial start of the spike in the war, we identified the area around $95 on WTI as the place where you would have in terms of market return and a little incrementally higher there, potentially slowing the economy. So we continue to be focused on that number. I think Washington is as well. We'll see how the dialogue goes. But in terms of rates, their wash might be boxed in a little bit there because of the oil price move. And I think it's going to make the communication next week challenging. And what you don't want to, you're seeing it in the 30-year yield really tugging against cycle high. You don't want to see the 10-year yield move towards 5%. That's where there is a bit of, when did it probably, next week. And then just finally, in terms of we're getting, numbers, they pretty much, I think, met a lot of the stock basically. It's basically reserving judgment in terms of whether this is going to be enough or whether it's that's a really good result in a lot of ways, particularly when you put it in the context of the personnel changes of the last few months. I think there was concern around that. Frankly, for us, the story is going to be the hyperscalers report CapEx that's stronger, and, looking into 2027, as we expect. The narrative we're going to want to see the hyperscalers trade better at the same time the semiconductors trade better. They've been changing places for 2 months straight now. They can't both rise together. We think that will change as the quarter moves on.
Because of earnings reports, do you think we finally break out of this range that we've been in for 8 weeks?
We do. We do. And you look at it, actually, the trading volume the last 10 days has been very, very low. It's almost getting to be one of those never short a dull market type situations. And I think it's only going to take an earnings report or two over the next week or so to break out of this mentality. Final question is whether, and it's a lot of different ways of cutting this sort of leverage momentum trade that got way overdone at the end of June has finally reset position. Because it's sort of not convincing that it has. And again, when you're thinking about things that are trading with volatility of 60, 70, 80% that are quadruple than it has, it's difficult to put parameters around it. But what we would say there is you have to watch Korea. Korea has been the tail wagging the dog of the momentum trade and the global asset markets in general. And it looks like buyers have started to wait to it.
Julian, great to see you. Thank you. Access call is underway. We're just moments away from the start of IBM's call. Up next, to discuss what lessons investors are learning from these tech earnings. Spell over time. We're right back.
We need attack support on the marked objective. Alpha's been neutralized.
Get away sales then. It's 0% APR plus 0 1.9% APR for 75. That's quite easy.
Time for a new bathroom shower, but you can be faced with a hard choice. A luxury stone breaking your budget, or thin plastic showers around that only covers up the problem. Now there's a better way. Introducing Reveal by Kohler, a remodeled certified convenience, luxury design, and value that only Kohler can deliver. Kohler look stone walls are grout-free, made from real stone and installed in the grill one day. Plus, your products are backed by a Kohler lifetime limited warranty, so you know they're built to last. Now you can have it all. Safety, convenience, and grout-free walls made with real stone all within your budget. The choice is easy. Reclaim your showers today. Don't just remodel. Reveal by Kohler. Schedule your free sign session now and get no interest and no payments for 1 year, plus $1,000 off. Reveal your dream at revealkohler.com or call 800-217-2493. That's 800-217-2493.
Yeah, I'm missing out. But a lot of them generate income. With less capital when you don't stop. It's especially beneficial for small individual investors. That's why this works. This option.
Objective Delta neutralized.
Friendly strategy. You're free back. Yeah. Not enough.com. Not enough.com.
These are all the places that exposing identity theft. If something happens, LifeLock provides a dedicated US-based restoration specialist with expertise to make the right calls and take the right steps to fix your case from start to finish. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Don't face identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with a leader in identity theft protection, LifeLock. For the threats you can't control. God just learned what happened. You have spotty coverage. Be it sunscreen or cell service, you get burned. Big stuff. When you get wireless service from a cable company, you can get scorched. Consumer Cellular is ranked #1 for network coverage satisfaction. Our plan started just $20 a month. Nice.
Cellular had Allen. Well, we're a phone company, Scott, but I could save up to half of the exact same coverage, unlimited and everything, for $35. Call or visit consumer cellular.
Welcome back. A huge afternoon for tech with investors getting fresh rates from Alphabet, IBM, and ServiceNow after the bell from cloud. The software to send me the whether today's reports support the AI growth story. Joining us now is Patrick Moorhead, CEO and Chief Analyst at Moorhead at Insights and Strategy. Patrick, great to have you with us. Specifically for IBM and ServiceNow, I'm wondering if those reports combined make you feel better about this narrative hardware eating software, maybe that's not actually happening.
Yeah, I appreciate that. When I'm this IBM issue, it's this post-print issue where people are taking for this how resolve software still very much in play here. And if you look at most people, particularly they had like cloud 8% year-on-year growth, which to me wasn't a surprise. It feels like it's dropping. It does show just the amount of money that's going into infrastructure. And then we had a post-QE moment where the chip stocks were racing yesterday up 8, 9, 10%. I think we are back to a very good place for AI.
And it's in a place, Patrick, where, as Joey was just suggesting, we have this magical scenario where if we get conviction in the hardware trade and semis can basically rally on the idea that there's multiple quarters to come of explosive demand, then it's not going to come at the expense of the hyperscalers that are putting the belt.
Yeah, I think Julie nailed it. Semiconductors and the hyperscalers can look at the consumers of AI go through. It's the hyperscalers and the chip stocks and it, but the only aberration in the system might be the pricing power that the memory stocks have. It makes it a little bit sideways. Where its memory keeps going up in pricing, there might pull in hyperscale. But we see even on software companies that are enabling AI-enabled services like ServiceNow and have a place in the trade too.
Patrick, stay with us. We're actually going to get a little bit of from
like we're confirming Alphabet's invested CPS. The reporter coming in at colored at the inside sense that is a fourth segment, and that's when you adjust for the $99 billion in investment gains, thanks to SpaceX and its Anthropic. What I will say is with back to the report backlog, which of course is invested to get our future growth, that's coming in at $514 billion. In terms of their cloud backlog there, that's up 82% year over year. And in terms of the call, I mean, we're seeing share trade roughly flat from the Chai, and we're not getting much to have sway the opinion here. And you chalked up a lot of the cloud gains to their AI business. Okay, all right, Mackenzie, thank you. Mackenzie said also we're seeing the share flatline here, but it's a negative. Patrick, I'm just wondering at this point, as you look ahead to the big state of earnings that we have next week, how do you sort of extrapolate what Alphabet's telling us about cloud growth and what it's seeing in terms of its search business?
Yeah, I think most like here on the infrastructure side is showing unprecedented and continuing demand for compute. The search indicator is interesting. Right? We've been talking for a few years on AI's potential impact on search, and I think that you're doing a good job showing how to monetize AI. I'd like to hear if AI buying into their search advertising results, that could be a chink in the armor, particularly for Google or any type of ad operated business out there. And you can, I don't think it's going to get the entire frothy, but it could get people side-eyeing companies like Meta. You would see the number 2 advertising out there.
Patrick, thanks for your take. Appreciate it. Patrick Morgan. Development story out of Capitol Hill. Emily Wilkins is afterwards. Emily. Well, the House has just passed a ban on all congressional lawmakers from trading on individual stocks, buying new individual stocks. This, of course, has come after a long period of back and forth. You saw all Republicans as well as 13 Democrats go ahead and vote for this. And a lot of Democrats held back because they wanted to have provisions that would also have certain bans on the executive branch and president of the United States from buying stocks. That did not get its bill. Now, of course, we'll go to the Senate, but faces a very high chance of high unlikelihood of passage given the lack of Democratic support here. Still, this is pretty monumental in terms of Congress moving on something that voters have long said is a priority. Guys? Emily, thanks. Emily Wilkins. And we'll be right back.
This was the first online trade.
An electronic trade.
Like an E-trade?
Now, there's a new way to trade. Crypto. Now, an E-trade is a forwarding platform. Today is the start of the next part of the journey, and today opens up some great opportunity for us to really accelerate goods, the good old-fashioned manufacturing efforts, really grind and succeed.
It's a company that is built for the future.
As a whole American, we know this course. This one, and this one. Definitely this one. We know them well because we're experts in expanding these global markets. To all Americans, a name worth knowing.
Well, I like having a few bucks of food noise. Which is great because I swear these little dino nuggets have been calling my name. But most people stop when they're international. That's why they're food. GOP wants to quiet the noise and help habits. So to prevent stop, you reach for ice cream. You reach for something better. Want to get in a cool set? Noon. Please the keys. InsideOfNoon.com.
We're not fun. You don't want to turn all this fancy premium to a platform at the logo. But WNet Hero does with its magical AI powers. It not only creates things, it slaps that sweet thing everywhere.
All squads, heavy armored vehicles are ready for deployment.
So, I ran some milk quick. You guys might want to there for it. Where is it? I doubt it. Convenience you'll agree with practice.
So, the guy that is the new driver.
You realize that changing doesn't have a financial plan, right? Maybe, yes. Now, agency man believes a little boring advice goes a long way. That one, nonsense. My friend, just give it to me. Marilyn, please.
Be advised, attack support needed on the marked objective. Be advised, hostiles are assaulting Echo.
Now.com alert for.
Hostiles attacking objective Delta.
So I'm reaction to the earnings very interesting. It was pretty much flat to negative at this point.
Yeah, not really helping us out in terms of how the market's going to DB 83% annualized cloud revenues or monster. I think the street's going to come out and defend their stock in the morning. We'll see if it has any effect.
Yeah, we'll see if IBM also managed to pull onto those gains that we're seeing right
A
now.
little bit of a bounce back. I just rubber time back.
That's what you charge right after the break.
Be advised, the enemy now controls more objectives.
Welcome to Reinvented with Accenture. Today I'm here with Margarita Della Valle, CEO of Vodafone. A lot of what you're doing is about courageous leadership, radical change, and that takes courageous leadership.
we need to acknowledge that change not seem change always at the ear of complex. I love that. I often talk about ruthless realism. That's exactly what you're talking about. For me, the key to driving change is to ensure that we are clear shared on why we have changed. We confuse with only one thing in life, which is the fact. It's really inspiring to hear your vision. You are demonstrating that reinvention isn't about being new to a company. It's a mindset. It's a commitment. And that's super exciting. Are you retired or planning to retire and worry your portfolio won't your long-term goal? MIXTYPE Investments can help. You'll get a team of professionals specializing in investing, retirement income, social security, tax optimization, estate planning, and more, working together for your future. If your portfolio is $1 million or more, we have up-to-date guidance you need now.
All we're seeing for your free smart retirement actions. Free essential guides that bring confidence and clarity. 280-3659.
Unlike some money managers who sell products to earn commissions, we do not. We have a transparent fee. We charge you do better when you do better.
Don't miss your free smart retirement actions. 1-800-280-3659.
As a full-time fiduciary, our goal is to grow your wealth and help you retire comfortably.
Call or scan for free smart retirement action kit today. Call 1-800-280-3659.
Every day, well-meaning people play hack. Trying to TATICAL, you really could.
Hold on objectives.
So why would you do it at work? I0 by Palo Alto Network generates identity security platform. Secures every identity in the AI enterprise. Control the chaos. Secure every identity.
Targeting objective Delta.
Watch from an attack Wednesday in the heart of New York City Times Square. Business fascinating. Liberals on top tonight. A big night of earnings. What's next reports tell us about the state of software, AI, and more. Show some clarity on the current these are those powers down. Travel one health to the consumer. And two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery will join us to talk about investing in women's sports. Why she sees so much opportunity in her for the women's championship this year. I'm Melissa Lee, company of Last City of the NASDAQ on the desk tonight. Eric Vitamin and Nathan Gaiadami, and our guest trader for the hour, Mr. Anthony Scaramucci, founder of Magic Partner, Skybridge Tackle. And Applaud. So fat and plan. Let's get on that quick and come back here, actually. We want to start off with a big slate of earnings out in just the last hour. 14 coverage in all the key reports. Down Ford standing by in ServiceNow and IBM. Bill LeBeau is tracking Tesla. We saw that with Mackenzie Sagalas on Alphabet. Shares are now down by about 2.6%. The company beating revenue estimates, sales jumping 22% from a year ago. Calls underway. It's been underway for about 30 minutes. That's the latest. So, Mel, you saw those shares take a steep fall lower. Just beginning to significantly down second half outlook. So the company is expecting a slight currency headwind in Q3, reversing the 1 point tailwind. The biggest impact here expected to show up in search and YouTube ads for social, well, the search segment mid towards the for the second quarter. Meanwhile, trends would still expect strong cloud growth. SMC has a small portion of existing TPU system sales expected to be recognized here. Of course, we thought we'd see more of that in H2, so that might be part of what's weighing on stock. They say the vast majority of that is now pushed into 2027 to secure their in-house AI chip, a real bright spot for the cloud business. You're getting an updated brief on CapEx that might also be part of what's dragging down stock here. It is guiding to a new range of $195 to $205 billion 2026 CapEx for the full year. So finally getting some of that forward-looking guidance. Those shares are 2.5% now, Mel. That keeps posted Mackenzie Sagalas on shares of Alphabet. Jared, what do you make of it? 195 to 205 billion for CapEx?
Yeah, that's why it's down.
Yeah.
That's 15 in the center, midpoint to midpoint, $50 billion additional CapEx. That's not nothing. So everyone's going to have to do that, Pete, right? Yeah, I think that the race is still on. And so, I mean, they put up really good numbers. Certainly cloud was
really, really impressive. But this, I think, will end up being the story of the earnings.
Yeah, they're saying that they're going to, for fiscal 27, it's going to significantly. I think that was some of one of the language that they gave when they reported on Q1, but at a time where the market is kind of questioning some of the spend, I think that's important. Also, this company, you know, when they did that debt offering, they announced an equity offering, and this not started. It's about $40 billion. So, you know, $4 trillion market cap company, maybe that's a rounding error, but from a second standpoint, so sooner or later, it might have a little bit of revenue is up 24%. Cloud was up, I think, 82% year over year. That's staggering. Think about it. Which suggests things still going well. I mean, search, okay, appointments, maybe, but the quarter is fine. If you saw that on the back of the spend, I get it. You've seen that before. Nvidia's probably higher, I would imagine, in the after hours on the back of that, but I don't think it's run away from it.
Well, you've got higher spend, but you also got that ATM that the issuance is looming over the stock. So, I mean, I don't know in the scheme of things, the scheme of their market cap, it doesn't seem big at all. Now, maybe they could do it between the end of the quarter and now they're going to have earnings. We do this.
I think this is the data Greg, like that Warren Buffett, like they see numbers like this that are decent and they see the long-term trend up. And if you're going to take it down 3%, that's it for market in short-term that express. So I think they like days like this. But I want to maybe have guided the search being down. It's a little more than people did expect. So you have a dashboard of Google search is going down, Gemini is delayed, the CapEx is not what people are expecting.
Yeah,
that's the problem. I think you make that up into a talent.
That's what it sounded. I think, listen, the search was disappointing, but I don't think it was catastrophic. Remember, it's a year and a half or so ago where people were talking about the existential risk that AI presented because of the search business. So it's not falling off a cliff, but your point is well taken. I think it's spend. My instinct suggests it's when the spend came out is when they sold the stock off. The quarter on its own, it was pretty good.
Yeah, by the way, search revenue 62.3 billion versus 63.4 billion. That's a little bit.
Somebody said actually, the guy's point on the search, that was sort of the boogeyman out there, and they obviously quelled those sorts of fears. I think distribution is something we talked a lot about, you know, when store adoption was going on with ChatGPT, they were running away with, right? And a lot of them just kind of discounted like Gemini was like this, you know, were able to meet with GPT, and then Anthropic had talked about it. It wasn't growing anywhere near. If you look at Google or Alphabet in particular, you know, properties that 3 billion users, right? It's Gmail, it's Google, it's Android, it's YouTube, is one of them missing. But you get the point. They have distribution, right? They can embed Gemini there. They don't actually need to charge for it because they're able to monetize it in other places. And I think that's a big part of the book. Anthony just mentioned they pushed out the latest go to Gemini. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's good enough because it's embedded in all this into their creating user behavior that is interesting.
When you use the word like significantly, that's a little bit squishy. And that CapEx will go up significantly in fiscal 27. That's a lot of imagination. That basically actually goes to $590 billion for this year and up here for Google. So maybe that up it's a little bit low, maybe. And so a couple things though I just want to add. Services are service a little bit higher margin, which we need, like cloud, 45%. So we're going to see likely very good numbers from AWS. I would think this is a great for meta spend. If they're in the arms race, well, if you are the belief with what you put out there, that they're raising by 15 roughly, but everybody else is pushed to raise stuff, well, there will be a ton of them. Then that's not good for in terms of this whole, we want to see the ROI. The ROI keeps going higher.
Like it's literally one of the most phenomenal media companies in the world. And if you're a media company, you're competing against the Colossus. I mean, so you put that whole thing together, is that what you want to hold for 3 years?
Right. So you want to own Alphabet in order to get at it, in theory, even though it's a small part of the business. I mean, the rest of the business is
I'm just making the point. They're all interconnected. I think that thing would be worth a ton of money if they spin it. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but at some point they may do that.
Yeah, Tim Seymour talked to Wendy here and talked about some of the parts. if in fact that would happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Anthony's not suggesting that it will happen, but some of the parts go a little more valuable than I think it is as sort of this the piece as a whole. I will say this again, look, I get market is here to spend. Meta is down in the after hours. I just want to make sense. I think the tell tomorrow is to be how will the Nvidia trade on the back of this increased spend? If it doesn't perform, maybe that's a bit of a tell because Nvidia's been trading great the last couple of years.
And one of the takeaways I have here is that they said they're going to expand into third-party AI capacity in Q3. And what's interesting to me about that is that if you look at some of XAI, like for instance, and they are basically telling their Meta just talked about doing. They want to be neo cloud, and at the end of the day, Google's saying that they need more compute, which I actually would impute that's probably a great play, right? And so at the end of the day, we know that Anthropic has not built out as much as compute as they need. That's why they went to XAI. That's why Google went to XAI. They did that deal on the eve of the IPO. So it says something about Google, and it's saying something very different about XAI. They overbought, they overbuilt, now they have excess capacity, they need to build out. That they have $1 billion a month. It's the deal that they did. That's great. They're $2 billion a month. They'll start purchasing money. But over time, have it 3 months out, and that can change very quickly. So if Google and Anthropic have done that, that would be a right.
All right, shares are down 2.8%. Conference call still going on. We'll bring you the updates as we have. In the meantime, let's get some two software movers. Starbucks now jumping after top and bottom line beats. IBM also higher. The company, of course, gave an earnings warning last week that sent shares plunging. John Ford spoke to the CEOs of both companies this afternoon. So, John, what'd you learn?
Well, let's start with IBM. I call it the way. Don't find that customers are maybe it's not that bad. But on the other side, that kind of leverage against what they've already announced, that pre-announcement saying, yes, we did pre-announce that the friendship going away momentarily from the mainframe business towards the memory issues that the AI situation has been. But look, it's projected that they have to stay guidance here and that business is not cash-passive in a significant way that continues to do what it normally does. It's put on really active specifically about that new mainframe cycle when that spike the first year, drop the second year, and they stay even in year 3. He said that's still the case. It's just that the little details within that, the velocity of that drop each particular quarter that they're reporting now, is not true. Folks, put them out with customers to help them get AI done. IBM, of course, has a business that's very much about that, the consulting business. Now, they said, yeah, we're going to be doing more of that. And, Palantir, and then actually it's part of IBM's legacy that perhaps we forgot about. They will be doing more of that forward deployment of engineers. The console about open source, open weight money. All it is that's going to benefit IBM because of other business that comes alongside when customers start choosing. What are they going to run on those 20-tier models that's really expensive, and then what are they going to put on some of those open weight models and cooking already some of them for customers.
Service now, John?
For ServiceNow, that call also underway, but Bill McDermott's message is that ServiceNow is different from the rest of software. Certainly, given the numbers that we saw on the Pegasus earlier this week that were more in line with what we saw on IBM, that idea that revenue sucked in the enterprise away from some of the traditional spend into some of that AI infrastructure spend. We don't see that in ServiceNow. ServiceNow beats all of their major categories here, and Bill McDermott saying, hey, we're growing as a cybersecurity player, so we're the number one cybersecurity grower in enterprise software, number 8 overall. This is continue to grow there. And as Joe Murray was saying earlier, this our idea of being something more integrated AI across a number of different providers for the enterprise. So I'm starting to see a bit more of conversation and shifting away from how much can we spend on figuring out how to use AI to can we figure out how not to spend really to on AI, but boy, that token burn is really expensive. That management item is not just about spending money, it's also about storage stock and it's such a thing over AI situation. And the took the hundred from the Germans that will play a key role.
All right, John, thanks for that. John Ford all over IBM as well as ServiceNow. We should note that when the earnings first calls for both of them, the stocks were higher. They sort of pared some of those gains back as this session has gone on and as the conference calls have gotten underway.
Yeah, I think the more interesting picture for me is IBM. Sort of getting back to the long-term day edge. It's, again, that seemingly has a lot of headwinds. You throw that into a mix with Microsoft or Oracle, I think, we understand what's going on there. I think IBM's a little bit different now. For context, IBM went from 290 to 214 in a straight line on that pre-announcement that we talked about on the day of. We haven't really wrong word. So you know what? A little bit better than the pre-announcement, which we were hoping to see. Red Hat is still going at 11%. It's
The units move up and engage.
the better than trading at now. So I think America is indicated neutral with 230 price target. I think that's more than reasonable. I think it should pay higher than that.
Yeah, we discussed ServiceNow last night. If they were able to come in line, die in line, and actually have some sort of commentary that it's going to be hard to rip out their products from existing customers. And I think the security point is a really good one. John just mentioned that OpenAI agent that accidentally on the basis of a collaborative platform where AI models are held. I mean, that's one of the things that listen, look at Palo Alto Network. Look at some of these other security names. They are really outperforming much of SaaS or enterprise software in general. And I just think that's going to be a theme. I think every conference here about some sort of agent hacking some systems that people are not going to be particularly on.
Tomorrow, based on ServiceNow, based on IBM, the IGV, go higher. I think a little bit, yeah, I do. I mean, I think it's a little frustrating. I don't know ServiceNow. They trade much better very early on. But I think the bar is low-ish. So I do think IGV is better. But one thing I just want to add about IBM, talk about that day where it really got annihilated. I bought some the next day. The pre-announced, they are not going to need to really have further value, right? There's a big 1 week later. That would really be, why do that? So, a little bit about it.
Yeah, definitely come at this from a blind perspective. If you're growing revenues at 20%, let's say I just came in at a Martian, I got out of the station, saw sort of looked at this company, I'm like, it's a phenomenal company, you got cut in half. But then the real question is, do you want to hold this thing, Walter? I say yes to this. And I bought IBM when the AI craze started, did well. We've now fallen here. But this whole collection of assets is going higher. It may not be going higher right this moment because of what's going on sentiment-wise. I think people need to see boosts.
The Steve where he was talking about quantum, I think IBM said they spent $10 million with quantum. Obviously, we know what the administration thinks about that. So there are other plays at IBM. That's some of the concerns we have about software in general.
That's a good game. If I were a Martian and I saw this stuff.
What about it?
Might be a Martian. I can't confirm or deny.
All right, IBM shares are about or so. Coming up, more earnings over through walk next for you the numbers for the quarter next. With that call kicking off in less than 15 minutes, plus the roadmap for crypto, whether the updated hiring tools will be for the industry. So what is not bringing investors off the sidelines? Don't go anywhere. Back from the back.
And the best. And what does she never miss? Well, wow, is she a certified human because taking care of it? You need June. June needs a retirement plan. Work with principals so we can help June with a retirement benefits plan that's right for her. With our expertise, ready to know yours.
Oh.
Cool. You're running charity for the top of the heart.
Thank you.
Every Williams Sonoma customer has, thanks to Salesforce. With Agentforce, every deal's perfect, every table's stacked, Every holiday is to be handled. Recipes, techniques, coolness, every answer that your victim says. It is the Halloween's development ultimate method for customer success.
You can't be glad that sketches so that you can actually see the cover. Watch, just second with no bending down, then with each step you can spot. More like landing of an explosive takeoff, like glide stepping from Halloween full. Try glide step sketches slipping. And hitting a bend while slow moving. Going now, you going now, and then with that fall slice some fast. Farmer, honestly, that power. Oh, that right there. Maybe you can't straight. No, down. Big part of all, we're gonna need it to understand. And it's not. We knew that, and that's why you go ahead and shut out. Number 14, 17, 16, 4, this is down.
Back on the earnings alert on Tesla, the stock is lower right now after EV Maker reported better than expected revenues, but missed on ETF. Philippos, that's more of the numbers. Bill.
Now, Melissa, that EPF miss, it's a substantial one. 33 cents a share is what the company earned in the second quarter. The street was expecting 51 cents a share. As you mentioned, revenue did come in better than expected at more than $28 billion. The street was expecting just under $26 billion. The numbers within the numbers in the second quarter, energy storage revenue, this was quite of expectations. Coming in at $3.12 billion, the street is expecting at least $3.5 billion. CapEx was better than the street was expecting at $5.78 billion, but automotive gross margins 2% below the estimate from analysts. They were expecting 18.5%. They come in at 16.28%. Their FBC subscription, which has been steadily growing over the last year, up about another 200,000, up to a total of 1.48 million compared to 1.28 million in the first quarter. And finally, in terms of what people want to talk about, Optimus production, Cybercam production, when it comes to the Optimus robot, they are installing the production lines out in Fremont, California. Still say that they expect to begin production this year. Melissa, as you know, all of this could change. 10 minutes? That's when the conference call starts. Never know what Elon has to say, and when he says something, that typically moves the stock more than the initial earnings report.
Better or for worse. Bill, thanks. Keep us posted. We'll go on Tesla. So obviously it was a big EPS miss. They are on target though for a lot of these sort of moonshot, products.
The run I would say, it's not about the quarter, it's not about any of this, it's about the story. I get it. I mean, I will say, to the extent that people care, free cash flow expected to be minus 3.3 billion with better. It was just about $1 billion good for them. But the margins, and what Phil was talking about, it's ex-regulatory credit, 16.3% against 18.5%. They promised us 2 years ago that they bottomed out in terms of margins, and they would start to re-inflect. It hasn't happened. I mean, these are legacy automaker numbers, but if it's not an auto company, none of this matters.
Right. So what is it? I'll tell you what it is. Yeah, SpaceX proxy. And so as SpaceX trades, so will Tesla trade. It's inevitable. Question of when do they merge them together? So absolutely. Right.
It is so good to be back together with you. I was really going to say that, but I was to add something now, okay? It's autonomous transport, it's AI and robotics at 349 times per. But if you believe in Elon Musk and you believe what Kara just said, it's like putting an option in him. And I would over tombstones of dead hedge funds. I mean, I know dead hedge funds, dead in their attention there when they toured Tesla, they owned free Tesla. Then they had to shut the fund down because of it. I would go anywhere near this alongside. For the AI stories, you're a big believer in single AI stories. You're one of the leading companies when it comes to AI.
If we're donating about, what that gun manager gets taken out, make sure that this guy has been such a massive underperformer because I've been too hard under the NASDAQ over the last 5 years. You had money in this, it's just been like eviscerated relative to what you could have done in the QQQ. And I think that is really important to think about, especially manage money, right? There's been a lot of opportunities to change in the going forward. Right? That's come down with 1.7 trillion market cap. Think about it. The last 4 years for this auto business have been a disaster. They had margins, I think, about 25% at some point. Now they're like in the space of Ford and GM at that 16.1 at credits. And that's not a good system. So if robotaxi does not come on the way that they expect it to do, then the production of those cars are not doing higher. They're literally, they're exhausted in the U.S. and in Europe. So that hope that started with a $2 trillion market cap, right? Just pop out the way Tesla did, and you better hope that it doesn't go sideways for 3 or 4 years. Because there's a good probability that it could do that. I'm not telling you it's I'm not telling you anybody should sell it here or whatever. It doesn't trade well, and I think if they didn't have that XAI, I can't imagine where the stock is trading. Because it would only be trading on Starlink, which is a good business, but it doesn't deserve a multiple. And then if it's all in the come about Starship and all this other stuff, well, then you better not hold your breath tonight. And that's the same story as Tesla over the last 5 years.
Yes, that is the common thread among all the Elon Musk companies.
Remember when you and I did the growing Tesla together?
Yeah, it was a for really the Cordell one.
And we went to the cheesecake factory.
Yeah, cake.
Yeah, I think that's cake. I want to go to that. I do not want to last with the company right out of the gate. And since then, they've all been like, okay,
About comparing a Cybertruck with the Edsel.
wow. I mean, what's he talking about?
Right.
He is a human being. Working at your hybrid. I wouldn't go near that.
But would you want? Would you be want?
I own it. I'll fully explain to you that I own it. I own SpaceX, and I'm a big believer in the long-term gain of what he's trying to achieve. Even if he's a syncretic guy, everybody knows that, but I would not bet against him. He's working right now somewhere, probably under his desk, on something that we don't even know what it is, that's going to explode in 2 years, and I want to be a part of it.
Well, I'll hint at what he says in the conference call. If that starts off in just about 5 minutes time. Meantime, coming up, some fast movers catching our trader side. What is behind the post range moves in Nova, AT&T, and CME Group? That's next. Put Bitcoin back in focus as an updated crypto bill makes waves in Washington. What the mood Stephen Southern straight ahead. That's my stuff.
Oh, dude.
Why is Blackstone the world's #1 alternative asset manager? It starts with our 270 portfolio companies and nearly 13,000 real estate assets. Its unmatched scale gives us a unique look inside the economy, allowing us to cut through the noise to see what's really happening on the ground in the economy. These powerful insights are how we turn what we do every day into proven performance for our investors for over 40 years. Blackstone, the world's #1 alternative asset manager. The girl, car, I agree you want to take the one. I'm sorry, Section H, based with Levi, which is absolutely that way. We call it where you need it. You're not right.
I'm sorry, it was nice to describe. You're done with these customized things. Valid to it. Never miss a sale of the world. That's great. We've had millions of businesses with Shopify. Direct reach off day.
AI boom is here, and it burns hot. Data centers are racing to billions of microchips because and corrosion kills hardware. Trinity Biotech, NASDAQ symbol,
I know, man. I lost 12 minutes.
microchip cooling solution that
Difference 12 million.
Accurate fluids from elements addressing a real similar market. Trinity Biotech and are identical design possible.
Cover your home, being clean in this 2x4. When forget. Bring me, we talk outdoor day. Sports decks, patios, and cushions use wet and forget outdoor spaces. No thrilling, no fixing, just apply and let it do the work for you over time. Got a bigger job? Reach second-story siding and roofs with outdoor mat. Up to a 30-foot reach and times of coverage. And wet and forget, a completely ridiculous. Invitation of the first ever in the next class. The world's toughest freaks.
Hold on, that bitch got a little, Draco got a little kickback.
Covered first ever. That's 55. Mega locally community together. Come with a smarter investor. CNBC Pro. 24/7 access to market-moving news and interviews with 3 mobile live streams. Become a CNBC Pro. Visit CNBC.com/get pro now.
Welcome back to Fast Money Stocks. Muted and Wednesday trading the Dow and the S&P 500 virtually unchanged over NASDAQ Fed 0.5%. Topic 3.5% despite mixed results. Net ads coming in ahead of expectations. The company also accelerating its planned buybacks of $10 billion this year. For Nova, seeing almost 9% despite a Q2 revenue beat and guidance hike. The company is seeing declining wind revenues and weaker onshore equipment deliveries, also warning of additional charges related to tariffs. Steam Group surging 5%, putting in its best day since 2023. The exchange operator beating estimates and saying the first half of 2026 was its best ever start to a year. And more after our moves on the radar, text instruments lowered by better than expected top and bottom line results. Las Vegas Sands sinking, missing earnings and revenue expectations. Southwest Airlines in the red on the results in nearly $900 million jump in fuel expenses. But United Rentals jumping as rental revenue rose 13% to a record. This is the R in your previous acronym. Yes, for rental. Terrible, that's all. Yeah. Yeah, so that's one word. But no, United Rentals is fantastic. We're deep in a raise. That raise, and once they are absolutely certain they've done a fantastic job. They have a huge project. This has been a really, really good fit for them, and I think it's they do. But Damo, yeah. Sammy, just quickly.
30 million shares average daily volume. It's the third best quarter, I think, in their history. This has been a long time.
Oh, the damn don't do no damn damage.
Exactly. In this tight gas, there's no new product coming out. But Terry Duncan, friend of the show, friend of ours, is always one step ahead of the curve. This was a great quarter. And that's a potential list that everybody was worried about a month and a half ago. I think it's coming to fruition.
Meantime, Bitcoin's recent rally on calls today. Crypto-related stocks like Coinbase, Strategy, and Robinhood also lower. This as a mistake to the Senate clarity bill would ban federal officials from issuing or sponsoring cryptocurrency. Anthony, it's logical.
Big thing is the Democrats said in the White House we need an ethics provision that has teeth in it. And what do you want? And they what they wanted in the White House. State agencies to be able to enforce federal state provisions. So then we're going to talk to the people in this way. It's code in the federal government because you can't have the state have a legal statement in crypto and legally for right violation.
Yeah, I thought you had done that. What you gonna do on here?
We're going to have a all day and the procedural one, no, that's it's large. Anyhow, what's called the procedure. For the weekend. Today's Wednesday. That means sometime tomorrow afternoon we're going to have to hear that that's in play so they can get it down to the floor to vote. If it gets to the floor, it's going to pass. That's my opinion. I think a lot of the younger Democrats are not going to want to go against the crypto bros and their PACs of November. That's my opinion. If it doesn't get to the floor, it dies until the death. And then guys like Brian Armstrong, after all the hours and time and energy that they put into this, they start building their.
I mean, I guess mine's I like the sound. Probably got a nice gun that gives a good sound too.
We need to get into politics that goes across the aisle, not allowing them to trade. Why is that such a difficult concept? In crypto, what do you think? Well, they make money. But if you're paying them $180,000 a year, and they have insider information, and they're allowed to trade on it, they make millions of dollars. And so I would rather take a Singapore model, pay them $15 million a year, $10 million a year, and they get really tight on them with yes. But we don't do that. They can't afford two houses. Let's say you're a member of the house, make $180,000 a year. How are you going to live in the district, and how are you going to live on that money? So they have all these different loopholes, and they have all these bunkers, and they have these ways to get them money. And, LinkedIn today, I'll send it to you guys, they showed Nancy Pelosi stock on the versus the S&P and on that's remarkable. Okay, so it's remarkable. And so is that fair? Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. Remember, Peter Schweizer's book came out in 2011. They banned it. And then they put it back in by voice vote. They didn't even go on. They didn't want C-SPAN to see them voting for it. So they did a conference call. They reinstated it. So for me, it's very, very bad. It's also have to understand you have to pay these people. You're not going to pay them. They're going to find ways to make money so they can afford the life.
All right, Anthony, you were a crypto skeptic, then you became a big bull, and you're in on it. That's like Bitcoin is your thing, right? Yeah. So if you're cryptocurrency, but you don't really get the underlying, the pillars of it. What about looking at last time we had a great conversation? Stage we were talking about some of the institutional platforms. We talked about one day, so one day, we talked about talked about circling up whether you believe in Bitcoin or not.
I love those businesses. We had a First Trust Skybridge digital economy ETF called CRPC. And if you look at the list, all of those businesses you just mentioned are in the thing. And so I'm a big believer in the six and doubles of the digital economy and this sort of new age thing. Now, I also believe that the stuff is coming, whether people like it or not, because it's better technology than what we have. It's an easy to problem. So let's go back to over government hated over, mayors hated over, taxes commissions hated over. We like these are the people. And so the people basically burned them off and won out. You don't have enough people in crypto right now to fight back the government resistance to the building. Bitcoin, where's it at? Well, it's going to grind higher because the sentiment is terrible. Doing this a long time. Reddit, strength index all-time low. Fear is at like a 7 on a scale of 1 to 100 from degree to fear. And there's no supply of Bitcoin in the marketplace, and there's no interest. And if you go searchable terms on Google, Bitcoin's down 55% in terms of searchable terms. All of those reasons, I think Bitcoin is bottom. I don't think it gets much more.
I've even looked up to make MIXTYPE reports. Deepwater achieved monsters and average of all of miners for his analysis, 0.620 reduced.
Hi folks, by not using hearing a lot about investing in YRE funds. Why invest in YRE? Well, you have the freedom to take your monthly interest as income or reinvest it, whatever you choose. Make sure and review the PPM and scan this QR code for more details. Accredited investors only. That many people are accredited and may not know it. Give them a call to find out. Why refi? You'll like investing in America's future.
Control more objectives.
Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1926 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1926 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 100 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling a secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of gold. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1926 $10 gold Indian coin from the exclusive anniversary gold collection for 150 years after America declared its independence. These 1926 dated gold coins are still in undefeated condition, perfect to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. Call 1-888-517-8568 to secure your exclusive 1926 special anniversary collection $10 Indian coin. Plus, to receive a free bonus over a $125 value and free shipping with every order. Call 1-888-517-8568 now to secure your 1926 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Come back. Bringing in
Right here,
with so much more confidence than I've ever felt. They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos are crazy. They instantly get rid of Figueroa and here to tell us why. This one is for real and so excited. We even have a video, and all it is a small amount on the Team Guard page. And what it does is it tightens and removes the appearance of dyes underneath their eyes. And I looked to my father when we were at home. So his father sees under eye bags and under tongue. They were so obsessed with it. Under 2 minutes, they visibly disappear from you. And now it's literally part of both of our daily routine. And not only does it work on bags, it works on this. The these fine lines and when $15 extra fine definitely my place does a huge workout with some application. Call 1-800-312-216. Welcome back to Fast Lane. Another look at the after-hours earnings movers. Alphabet and Tesla low, while IBM is struggling to stay positive. Deepwater Asset Management's team Munster is following all of these moves and all of the conference calls. It's their hard work machine. What's your big takeaway here in terms of what it means, what this all means? Put it in a bag, pick it up for the entry tomorrow.
Well, the most important piece, obviously, is related to what the Google CapEx guide was, 4% higher than the street, and that ultimately means that the numbers for all these CapEx infrastructure companies are going to be going higher. We saw that in some of the after-hours trading with some of the smaller companies like Coherent and Vertiv all trading up 1-2%, and Vinny's basically flat. But Melissa, this simple takeaway is that this is really good for the infrastructure trade fundamentals. The question comes down to, will investors get the trade credit?
Hey, Gene, you and I talked about it. You are a hard guy. Thank you. When you look at the deceleration in earnings, sales, and margins for Alphabet next year, how much of that spend has a big part of the margin and earnings slow down? Like it's not something that should place at least a discount on until you see enough reasons to actually, see the potential for reacceleration and margin improvement.
What you're hitting with is basically the kind of the key connection between Google and Tesla tonight is this margin decline, fractionalness of margin for Google is bigger when it comes to Tesla. And this question about how should we think about margins relative to the broader revenue opportunity. CFO of Google said that they have had this caffeinated growth in Google Cloud that's going from 63 to 83%, that they're going to have to go to third parties like SpaceX to continue to meet demand. That's going to push the margin lower. So I want to get your answer to your question, Dan. Is what does this mean? Is that it's really important. These stocks are not going to go up unless margins are stable or maybe high. When it comes to Tesla, we had 4 quarters in a row of expanding out of those margin type credits, and that just seems to like really burn energy. And so I think it's really important. They don't have to go up for the trading, but they do need to go up and stay high for I think these stocks to continue to work.
That's good. Thanks for being on. So, here's that margin a little bit more. Let's say they do have more demand than they can supply. Where do we get to a period where that starts to be somewhat more in line and we really see what the margins are?
Well, that's kind of one of the crazy parts about the Google numbers. And they're, to put in perspective, they have $25 billion in cloud revenue in the quarter. They'll probably do like 130, 140 over the next 4 quarters. Their backlog in cloud grew $50 billion sequentially, now $514 billion. So that's some of our 7-year contracts they have. But Karen, when you look at those backlog numbers, you have backlog numbers that are pretty what the next 12 months revenue are. It's almost hard for me to conceptualize when we're going to get to supply demand equilibrium. And I think that's kind of the point here, is that these companies ultimately are seeing this massive backlog and saying, I'm going to spend whatever it takes to get there. So to answer your question, I don't know when we're going to get that. Maybe we need to be a year plus out before we feel like we get any sense of where that demand, that equilibrium is. What's most important on that margin topic is investors have to believe it can happen before the margin can actually go up, and that's the confidence that they are going to go higher longer term.
We can take a look at the stock in the after section. Look here. This is a massive CapEx year. That's on that conference call. The stock's down 5%. They originally got 2 years premium.
You wanted me to come back here to get it.
following along with the margin, but following along, this is CapEx currently as well. So is that surprise to you? During things,
This was the one, there's a lot of good things in school call. I had expected margins to actually be up, so I was wrong on that. I thought I was right on this CapEx, so it's pretty easy to hear because we know how important this is for them. 60 is not this year, that 25 million number, what was the details, we'll see if thoughts about the exact number. It's just next year, it's looking for 21 million, so it's down. That number, like it could be up year over year. And Elon was selling investors, that was one of the first things that the call on this idea that we really is going to pay off. This is the biggest opportunity to trick money ever, kind of a theme when it comes to CapEx. And so I wasn't surprised by it, and I think like another, I mentioned that kind of connection on the margin, but there's also a connection between Tesla and Google, very easy connection, which is on that CapEx fee. And we've been waiting, we've been talking about the past year and a half, and there's just some sort of a slowdown in it, and just not seeing it. So I think what the simple takeaway is, it's still very early in the It's hard to, for me to wrap my head around that, but we're still very early, and I think what we're hearing is really definitely that.
Gene, thanks. Always great to get your take. Gene Manager from Deepwater Asset Management. We are also getting some headlines out of IBM, which were interesting. They said 1/3 of those second quarter deals have already closed, and they said that this was deferral and not destruction when it comes to those deals lost there. They seem to be addressing head-on that concern that those deals are going to go away because spending was going to favor hardware with what they're going. That's good, but stock is flat though. Yeah, it's not time to doing much. Nothing but yeah.
Well, there's 1/3 that closed, but
Right. It was 1/3 has closed, yes. About the big CapEx thing, we had more big CapEx that IBM was not beneficiary of, right? I don't, right. I think it's telling the top of
I agree with that. It's telling that it's lower than that. Again, 14 is where we traded down to what we announced today. Obviously lower than that. That is the sell. I think it's too cheap. I don't think they're getting credit for the legacy businesses. They're actually doing pretty well. And I put Red Hat in the legacy business. It's long enough now.
Coming from basketball to the boardroom, two-time WNBA champion, Atlanta Dream couple owner Renee Montgomery will join us to talk about business within the sports and the biggest growth opportunities. Bill Smith, back when it's back right after this.
For 4 generations, Reingold's made us been a trusted name in American kitchens. But their digital presence is fragmented across multiple websites, creating an inconsistent experience for customers and partners. In just a few months, AmericanEagle.com helped Reingold behind 4 websites. One high-performing digital platform for consumers and B2B customers. The result, 6% increase in engagement and stronger revenue. Your digital ecosystem is holding you back? Partner with AmericanEagle.com.
You put up with your old shower for too long. It's outdated, unsafe. It's time to replace it. Why struggle with a lengthy shower remodel when Jacuzzi can do it in just one day? There's no need to break a flag or your bucket. But right now, we're waiting all installations on plus offering 0 interest and 0 payments for up to 1 year. So you can finally convert your old bath to a safer, easy entrance shower complete with a custom seat, grab bars, and slipper-dipping floor installed in 1 day. My overall experience with Jacuzzi is wonderful. One thing was customized to the way I wanted it with a price for it. The great experience, don't start with it. Don't take matters into your own hands. With that smart way, give Jacuzzi Bath Remodel a call.
So, campaigning during our limited time offer. We're waiving all installation costs and offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-371-3694.
At the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center, James Cancer Hospital.
Fuck that thing. I'll shoot you with a rifle. What the fuck?
Last a lifetime. Our programs address the physical, mental, and emotional aspects of a cancer diagnosis, treatment, and long-term survivorship. From complex and integrated therapies to our James Care for Life community, we support survivors as they heal, rebuild, and thrive.
Think Invesco gives you at least one bright idea?
Think how our Innovation Suite ETFs open up a world of innovation. From flagship access to the NASDAQ 100, come low volatility, equal weight, and more. All designed to help investors shine. That's brilliant.
Welcome back to Fast Money. Women in sports expected to bring in at least $3 billion in 2026, according to data from Deloitte. For more on the state of play, two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery joins us now. She's also the USA Sports WNBA analyst. Renee, great to have you with us. Let's go. Let's talk it up. Thank you for the energy. You still are the first forward of the NBA player to hold a winner to stay in the Atlanta Dream. And so I'm wondering what has happened in women's sports in the past, 5-10 years that has really, awakened people to realize that this is a growing area. People have real interest in it, and it is lasting. Yeah, I think the main thing that has happened is that people actually started to watch the game. As simple as it sounds, the product has always been top tier. Like, it's been the best league in the world, but now you can just tell that businesses are understanding the growth. The fans are engaged. People are following women's sports. It has the most engaged fan base, especially on social media. But then when you want to talk straight business, in fact, Deloitte predicts that women's sports and market will be at $3 billion in 2026. So just thinking of that and understanding that that's a 340% increase since 2022, you start to understand why the investments are following, because there are surges in commercial partnerships and the game day growth and even broadcast expanding. I mean, right now I'm sitting in the USA Sports Studio, and that's a new partner of the WNBA, and there's others. And so I think that there was a misconception that women's sports was a charity, and that women's sports is like, do the right thing, support women's sport. But now I think people understand it's a real investment. Renee, Karen Fineman, thank you very much for being on. Exciting to have you. So following this, a few years out, we're going to have a few more team stadium expansion. I'm a Liberty fan myself, so I'm pointing at that. But I really wonder, do you think that we will continue to grow at the same pace, or could it accelerate? I think the pace is great right now. I mean, we know that Cleveland's on the way. We know Detroit's on the way. We understand that Toronto and Golden State are already here. It was what both of those teams were doing, but if we take a spotlight on Golden State, and not just leading the league in attendance, but I went to the game when the Atlanta Dream was playing at Golden State, and the way that their fans are engaged and locked in and just locked in on everything with the team, it's kind of to calm everybody's fear about the growth. And then you look at Portland, and they're selling out. You look at Toronto, and I went to that game as well when the Dream played, and there were fans that came up to me that said, season ticket members, and they're flying to the game. They don't even live in the same city. They don't live in Toronto, but the whole country is supporting the Toronto team, so they travel in 4 hours at a time, 5-hour flight to support their team. So I think that the growth is at a good pace right now with the teams that we have coming in. And I also love that I know some people are worried about the growth having to be too fast, but if these recent expansion teams are any indication of what's to come, then the league is in a great place.
Renee, the NBA logo is Jerry West from the state of West Virginia, but you're the best basketball player to come out of these states. Number one. Number two, what makes that program, the UConn program, so special? What does he do in one word or a few words that make it what it is?
I think it's just a discipline. Like, if I had to describe one word to describe coach, it's a discipline, and then there's a standard. And it doesn't matter what your standard was before you take UConn. It doesn't matter what your standard is in your mind of what's hardworking, what's acceptable, what's right. Coach Ariema has a standard that he set at UConn, and when you go there, you beat that standard. Like, he doesn't accept anything else. And so I think it's that. And you could call it a perfectionist, but I don't even think he faces perfection, even though he's had multiple teams that have had undefeated seasons. I was fortunate to be on one, and we went 39-0. But the way that he trains and the way that he forces you every day to be your best self, I think is what sets you kind of.
Goddamn fucking VSM is fucking booty mud.
Spare time, we will streamline USA Sports.
where they know thanks for having me. By the way, apparently there is a WNBA game tonight on CNBC at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So you won't want to miss that. Let me have the credit check why Capital One shares were under pressure today. What back money? You need to invest 4,000 business.
Everybody on the roof with the motherfucking get dog rounds on the roof.
Finding opportunities to live. That's right. You won't be successful there. What you need is a place which opens up to giving more and what you find. Whether it's on a profitable business or earn high benefits, there's more available. And this is everything for. Upwork is an initiative to reward people with training, and it rewards my career with training. You should find tax advisors, a national tax and accounting firm for ultra-high income households and mid-sized cities.
Objective Alpha neutralized.
You're going to see it there.
Yes, covered. Don't join it. It works for me to do it. You're gonna do that. Look at that. And that's why I don't have insurance. Come on, and fucking Navy SEAL, the Navy SEAL, and not wearing. Yeah.
Funding shares at Capital One down today despite earnings, but the estimates the company saying credit losses fell as the Richard Fairbanks noting that numbers do not reflect the K-shaped economy that many are talking about. Was that your takeaway, Karen? Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I mean, one we're really concerned about the consumer Capital One convinced you place to look at that. Really is not what the numbers show there. So there's a little bit of noise because they did that big merger. They did a couple of deals. And so, the earnings were good. I'm intrigued.
You're going to stay up on 700.
Alright.
One of the five-star reason was not nearly as bad as I thought from the parent point. It was actually good, but I still think credit's a problem. So.
Next time, great.
We need defensive support on the marked objective.
What's it saying? He's king. For every one that's spoken on the call, he has 3 comments, 2 memes, and 4 emojis to contribute. One positive during every single meeting. But I don't know it's back in the product management, 16 with 11.0, component name. They need the benefit. Work principles so we can help you help Zane with a retirement management plan that's right for him. But our expertise, not out yours.
We are in a strong position. Stay in control and secure the fight.
Good day, and a less than great one. It's all in the details, and I see the world. And that's why my mornings start with this. A once-a-day eye drop just keeps blurring your vision.
venues, labels, screens, even doing my makeup, little things started to be big. But now I can stay in a moment clear, confident, and free to go with flow. Ah!
Right.
Hundreds of thousands of women use breast cancer and will free. Imagine a breast disease that could prevent the disease from occurring and its virus diseases. A NASDAQ company, stock symbol ANIX, developing its transformational breast cancer vaccine through the clinic. Phase 1 trial funded by the US DoD met all primary endpoints. Positive results in 74% of patients. Stock insider buy from CEO buildings. And MIXTYPE.
Damn, you get way more XP if you have the battle pass.
My computer is a wonderful episode. Will no longer need it. Can't afford it any longer. You get $400 cash. Well, they're sailing through time. If you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, you may be able to sell it for cash. Get an instant estimate at openlife.com or scan the QR code on the screen. Or call 1-800-502-0100. That's 1-800-502-0100.
We could have what, 40 plans? Oh, work like it's that's why you and Bank Smart thinking you are the guys that work together so we can put the work together. That's the power of it.
After the final phrase, and fair move.
I'm going to say I did, and that's big point, and it's the binder.
Karen.
Yeah, so Alphabet, I thought it was a big quarter, not trading particularly well, because I was my own number,
Dan.
Yeah, service now, nice little pop here. It's obviously got still this good marketer this season for software. Okay, my final trade is Dollar Jimmy, but more importantly, I love Anthony Scaramucci like a brother. He's too kind, or he's too humble to say this. For the last 21 years, Skybridge have insurance over 300. Here are all the Skybridge insurance.
Now here's the right there. Bottom of the line. Here's Liberty. And go out to fast 9 when you start right now.
My mission is simple. To make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all of them. There's always a woman who's on. I will you find it.
There's no time they come available.
Attack support on the marked objective.
Okay, this two clicks. Then we'll pick back on like a take a breathing.
We've taken objective
It's important here. We have situations that are hard to understand without having to understand them. We have companies that expect us to look at metrics that do made up to it. And we have all sorts of macro input things more. And that's how you get thinking field running. Responsible for some time. In the average, like they'll finish down. Easy points as we find 0.14%. The NASDAQ one, 5-7%. They don't understand the background. Okay, I'm back to waking up at 7 a.m. again. I mean, fuck them up. See, Mark, machine, what you see? Conscience, SK Harvix. Bad news, well, handling. So you know it's 49 a.m. Man, open. And it is.
Charlie has been neutralized.
It's one of the possibilities in the snapshot is always doing everything. Let me give this an example. When we had a watershed moment waiting for one model from OpenAI searching for an answer, halfway out was going to be a contained known as a safe bob, then went online and hacked two Lucky Face.
Bravo under attack.
And Lucky Face used the Chinese model to stop it. I mean, it means that the bot have to be happening. It just went wrong. With 4 games, that's all.
Bravo's been neutralized.
That's one of the biggest stories out there. In a world where AI is so cool, what do you do? What's this guy stuck on a fast quick? They have a conference to stop it. But the stock was down big and traders ignored their solution entirely. So
All for one thing in this world is going to be a surge in German production. The demand for these things is insane. Seems kind of a big growth, right? Biggest German company in the world. One I've been recommending kind of forever. And what happens? It misses the quarter. I mean, not just it misses by a mile. No better than so, and the tax was perfect. The order is
under our control.
the earnings are the earnings. And Verona didn't have, so the stock plunged nearly 9%. Meanwhile, we bring nothing out of NVIDIA, right? Make no mistake about it, I think the wall of NVIDIA, I put my NVIDIA uplink to the morning show just to click wrong. But maybe there hasn't been stated super micro customers that they sell, that you buy. I couldn't work. The implement is to make it a Dell and AP enterprise, super micro there, but the tours too, that market sure these are not NVIDIA. Opens down a couple of bucks. What is that doing? But wait a second, I don't know. We're mid-morning. The stock of the 180, ending the day up $4.77. I sort of filled that in. I can't really give you a respawn. Delay reaction, full application. That makes sense. I have pound the table with Johnson for days now. I thought the quarter was excellent. Nobody agreed with me. It's not going to happen. Remember how terrific is technology and they probably still came to look by away from this prize, isn't it? God, J&J. No, nobody seems to care. But then Tim found out that J&J got a green light from the FDA for its Otavo robotics turtle system. You know, it's got gold bonkers. The best of it was in J&J. Wow, better technology company. I think, no kidding. But the market's shot. Now, J&J's back. Although it won't matter for years. It doesn't stop there. For months, the market's hated enterprise software stock. Salesforce, Workday, ServiceNow. You have to think these darn things deserve great credit. And Easters was the finest company with here for years. They get savage. We call it ServiceNow tonight, Steve and co-working church up around. But it's amazing. Enterprise software stocks are not catch a bid. And ServiceNow got crushed during the day before we even saw the quarter. This is not supposed to be happening. Then by mid-morning, oil starts to come down, and we start thinking, oh, here it comes. They're going to talk about the range. They're begging for a deal that the folks are doing well. Getting greater than defeated. You stop developing nuclear weapons. Same story from the spring. It's the exact opposite. President backs up the stakes. Talks about taking out bridges and doing Thanksgiving. Secretary of State's the Arkansas. Then oil reverses and goes down. Well, that's news. None of this does it at all. But you can fight like that. They never visit the highs at the wee hours of the night. Well, interest rates are going higher anyway. The 10-year 60th time. Oh, well, that means all the interest rates and the stocks will be going down, right? Oh, no, not at all. Oh, that performance sector is utility. Anything separate doesn't mean you do. You get integrated. One of the biggest homegrown reports is going for it. It's incredibly counterintuitive, especially if the stocks are being tariffed getting a bumper. It gets even here. Well, the consumers with stocks to be getting clobbered on higher rates. Their dividends aren't worth as much when you get better returns to the bond market for spring. Plus, they're being hurt by inflation. Higher oil really stymies their earnings power. They should be going down. Get it turned up to your bunker and get well back. Typically, 48 rally. Jam, it's bunker. It break you. How high? It's going to fantastic shorter. You can make this above. Then tonight, Outlook reports, and this is a perfect example of how you start getting. The company puts in absolutely enormous earnings steep, and earnings per share more than $9. Really expensive, but that's $3. But you must forget about that. I mean, the quarter included $99 billion, just $99 billion in other income, which relates to the company's investment in space tech and their profit with honey. The rest of the quarter, man, so proud for this company, 80% versus last year. They was more than it. But the fact about our global search business, I blame for the bears. We worry about the AI era, but the most important line might have been free cash flow, or actually negative free cash flow, much worse than expected, down near $6 billion. After all the company's enormous capex spending, and I'll explain why the company's issuing $85 billion stock bill they pulled its best. Stock bill all over the place up down. The cash flow might have been the swing factor, and the reason shares only for after hours. I don't think you've heard the last word of this one yet, though. Say that these moves make us honest. You just need to think through that. Or you can say, forget it, Jake. It's earnings season. You can't possibly figure this stuff out. Why? Information's on overload, and you can't just go to the chatbot for answers because they don't know either. You know what? I think these things have the mind of an intern, but the language of a CEO. It's just too hard. Here's my line. There's the ways I think is doing an answer. I mean, just try to take it all in, except for the market that the almost secret thing over time. Don't expect your demand rationality. Don't play the best yet. Just get the outs on the earnings numbers. And in the end, you know what? You don't need to. You just have to own the companies long term. Block out the short-term noise, except when it gives you sweet buy opportunities that are certainly worth taking. Now let's take questions. I'd like to start with Craig in Florida. Craig!
I'm Jim, Craig in St. John County, Florida. How are you?
St. John's. I love St. John's. Oh, man. It's not hot down there right now. I really like it, man. What's going on?
It's John. I'm going to get this all in. This is my third time speaking to you about SoFi over the years. I believe the future for this company is very bright. Each time I've spoken to you, you supported my case. The stock has done incredible off the bottom. But since its IPO, it is still down 30%, and it's a battleground stock with what looks to be incredible earnings and growth. The stock has re-rated from 30 plus, while each quarter improved substantially. The recent allegations from Carson Block and Muddy Waters, in my opinion, have not been addressed properly at SoFi. There is a large number of shareholders at the and the majority of the shareholders are also members. What's your thoughts on these allegations? Back on the look at the allegations, yeah, it's another people think he knows a lot, and there's not a whole lot of what I a lot of the stocks that I'm just being kind of locked in rates right now. They don't really have explosive earning power, and we know it's fintech that's been a very tough place to be. And it is a fintech par excellence. The one fintech that's working, you have to own the top firm. All right, if you don't like to spec rationality in this market, just make sure you own good companies for the long term. What's this about? Okay. It's for real. I mean, let me tell you, I'm getting deeper and cheaper on Nova's latest quarter. I just mentioned it, but I think this don't miss my take on this club stock. And General Motors, they were talking about that one up, but we're in Florida quarter. So it's now the time to get in on the stock at the for non-tech opportunities or get close to one. And ServiceNow is one of the liquor earnings. I was going to have on the scale amid a busy day for AI and for enterprise software. So stay with flavor.
Kind of Mad Money. Follow at Jim Kramer on X. Have a question? Kramer. Hashtag add mentions. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-NBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com. Shark Tank tonight starts 7 Eastern. CNBC. This was the first online trade. Playing electronic trade. Trade?
Order filled.
New way to trade. No, Trade's award-winning platform. Meet Sabrina Gonzalez, Walmart pharmacist extraordinaire, and her 9 years of Walmart. You've seen it all. Pimples, scrapes, sunburns, the really bad boo-boos, and the patients who need a little extra time to understand their script. Even mysterious God. When the people you love need ongoing care, Sabrina's the one they count on. One of the 15,000 plus Walmart pharmacists for communities just like yours. Really now.
When was the last time you made a return like this? Options, but of the very high returns to stocks. Caught flat and reduced. In our new book, if you're pretty confident that it's not enough, no. It's not enough, and it's not enough.
I'm so glad I discovered this. What is the biggest I've got to keep learning your vision?
Oh, I don't have right, clinical trials. Most common side effects include eye irritation, temporary dim or darkness, headaches, and eye redness. Do not use anything from allergic to any of the ingredients.
Back on the cartoons?
Drive safe, bud.
You wouldn't do this at home. Why would you do it at work? I'm Zero on Palo Alto Network, featuring every identity for the AI enterprise. Control it now. Experiment with every identity.
Mobile offers flexible plans to your needs and budget. Mix and match unlimited and 5 gig data for each month. No every month, what they use. Enjoy unlimited talk and text with no contract. Use the account savings calculator to see how much you can pay.
Switch today at Singleton. What's that? One of the nation's largest, most reliable 5G network. Visit Estelle.com/football to start saving.
For yourself from Friday night. Start privately with .9. With the .9, start privately. ChatGPT, Claude, and other AIs for free, all in one place. .ai from .go, where AI is private and optional.
Backline. Free custom
Order filled.
that meets the weight of the full data. Backline. It's your skin.
This is powered. You need to cover the power of aircraft to get anything done. And you get to go custom-made that. For the air chapter, and stuff.
Good morning, Jimmy from Nova. The power's been up from the old General Electric importer. Why these 10 first? And it's not exactly this way. I've been one of the lowest out there, but it's a witness essential for power in the data center for full free electric grid. But it's plunged 9% today in invisibility went down above. It's been a concept overreact. In fact, I think we're looking at one of the big buyout reasons for so far. Or something else. You ever go report a healthy revenue, 22% growth year over year, but 47 cents per year. When Yale's board is more $3 this year. Now that is a major earnings miss. Even if you want to stock out on it, even if you're already pulled back pretty far from its latitude highs, latitude highs, well, I could go on with the rest of the but, you know, I think it would be a mistake to sell but you're basically this. Well, it looks bad when you look under the hood. It's going to the gigawatts pricing, you mentioned an enormous backlog. We say that 2030 and beyond. Well, I didn't see a very different the picture. It's here got created this thing on the top floor. Real story here isn't earnings. It's the gigawatts, the expansion of fervent output, and a massive backlog. Now, I'm not saying we should just abandon earnings per share for gigawatts per share. We can't have a wing stock situation where the earnings were supposed to not matter anymore. But not every line item is equal in some situations. Earnings may not be the most important measure. It's one of those. People don't face the book of $170 billion backlog. The usually it's just a question. And we forced a year ago, those are monster numbers representing about 4 years. We have to expect the farmer makes $200 billion by next year, providing an extraordinary amount of fiscal efficiency. Specifically, Supernova has 116 gigawatts of electricity either in backlog covered by slot reservation fees. About 100 gigawatts 3 months ago. Gas equipment under contract alone to reach at least 125 gigawatts by the end of this year. Wow! If you were to not stop, with data center operators are making commitments years in advance to the worried they won't be able to secure any equipment when their facilities are ready. The production team for Nova taking the jump from about 3 gigawatts of gas turbine output per quarter to 5 gigawatts per quarter starting in the current quarter. Going forward, that means we're going to hit 20 gigawatts. That's 24 gigawatts by 2030 gigawatts 2030. Making it investment is they see the data center as a generational opportunity. As and data. There were about 15 years of demand, and there's the backlog. They're currently getting orders for many years in the future, and that's typically something. That's a long-term earnings power. Look, every time these guys sell a turbine, their service business. Remember, they don't just sell machinery, they also make money from long-term service agreements. Keep this stuff running. As the install base grows, the higher market services division grows with it. The other major line shareholder need to watch is electrification. which is basically orchestration of electricity from generation and consumption that require transformer, substation, switchgear, grid software, power conversion equipment, and high voltage transmission systems. All should be produced, thread, and flutter. You've seen lucrative. Electrification business orders increased by 66%, stunning. Organic growth, revenue of 68%, rapidly rising more. Segment reported a book-to-bill ratio of about 1.7, meaning expertise $1.50 for every dollar of revenue is recognized. It's all that with $42.6 billion. Now, I think they're not getting enough credit for that red hot electric states. They're really needing years ago, but it's also part of the data center story. That the part of Vernova is firing all cylinders, flying with down as much as not because the earnings that did not come out of nowhere. Wind power amazingly here with wind orders down 40% organically. Revenue lost 11%. The segment lost $265 million of earnings for interest tax provision amortization. We have a $165 million loss in Torino. Ever since the Trump administration rolled back the tax credits for wind power, the demand for wind power. Well, the I honestly would think it's just get rid of it. I mean, just spin it all for something. Except I know under a different president, it's very short of renewable power that would get sponsored again by the government. It's terrific. As long as you aren't a whale, goes to these buckets. Well, we would burn pretty much anywhere. Maybe I'm not freaking out about Vernova during this design was excellent. The company raised its full year revenue $5 billion, while they maintained their EBITDA margin forecast of 12% to 14%. They dramatically raised their free cash flow outlook reaching $11.5 billion and $12.5 billion. That's up from $6.5 billion to $7.5 billion range. That's an incredible increase in cash generation. A metric everything is good for this company is EPS. As you now expect organic power revenue for the coming between 18 and 20%, up from 16 to 18% the previous forecast. They raised their outlook for electrification too, so they go, okay, let's go back. The stocks held good. Why did it fall 9% today? The earnings was real, and the stock had also gone power wrong. You know what I think about our bonds and planes. And GE Vernova needed to deliver something spectacular, but they keep climbing. Instead, they report them at disappointing at first glance, even though it's pretty strong. Both are examining. But the core AI infrastructure trade has been under pressure for weeks now. And so that's the question how long I the scale is going to spend. Some people feel like on the scale. Those are legitimate concerns. Vernova certainly has been a cheap stock appearance, 33 times earnings. They're getting even at 74% in 12 months. The argument is but I was anything that is part of the breaks the full increased 88%. Backlog growth by $15 billion in 3 months. Company spends at least 125 gigawatts of gas equipment under contract by year-end. Urban output increasing from about 3 gigawatts per quarter to 5 gigawatts. Electrification revenue was 29% organic and margin expanded by 700 basis points. And data center orders have already more than doubled last year. So, okay, slow down. Business wait to stand out. Here's the bottom line. Vernova did Winston's earnings, and I wasn't upset by that, but it was the win. It's got an incredible backlog thanks to the strength in turbine electrification. When you look at the order book and how the company's expanding production, it makes me very confident in the future, which is why today's decline actually, yes, indeed, is a buying opportunity. Before we get to the look past the earnings, I would say this though, if Vernova keeps getting hammered, you got my butt to keep buying on weakness, and you might find my travel truck buying right alongside, as we have a flight forward cost basis, but long ago, that money is back to the break. Coming up, which revenue engines following its latest report, Kramer's going under the hood to see the stock ready to race higher. Next. If we are celebrating this 250 years, we need to reflect how it ever happened when the original we wanted to protect the nascent industry of the nation, and we wanted to fund the periphery. Likewise, it's a young mystery. It's the MVP. Wednesday night on USA, let's go. Wednesday, our supplemental starts with the incredible and the sun. The rings look to advance the rating off potential bias. It all starts tonight at 8 USA.
Today's industries are evolving fast. Comcast business needs to reset. Secure AI-backed networking in over 100 countries. Thousands of experts and therefore 2 a.m. like Korea. Outweighing over 90% of the Fortune 500 and millions of small businesses. Just like that. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast.
A tax return and a tax plan are two different things. A return reports with all the cabinets. By the time it's filed, every decision that matters has already been made. A plan works the other way. For it seems, in your tax returns, an enrolled agent who do multi-year taxes for people earning over $2 billion a year. Just on tax advice. A national tax and accounting firm for ultra-high income households and mid-sized businesses. Losing weight with a GLP-1? What's the name? It's Friday. It's training meals. What's the wrong stuff? I can't eat. Let's get supplements eventually. Huh? The trick is planning to rival massive. GLP-1s keep starting weight loss. Mindset and habits will keep it off.
Hey, Rebel, that's amazing. Rocky Road.
I'm choosing a super pro workshop.
Miss you.
Please be keen. It's not a new talk. Traditional shower remodels will go over budget and cost several liquids. Not to make it a mess, but there's a way to skip ahead. With a one-day jacuzzi bath remodel,
There's no comparison right after.
if you want a beautiful bathroom without a nightmare and a drawn-out remodel, this is absolutely the way to go.
It's never been your time to buy. We're leaving full installation costs and postponing full payment for up to 1 year.
Plus, redesign consultation will help you choose those right combinations of beautifully materials, custom safety features, and accessories, all backed by a lifetime warranty you can trust. The new bath or shower you've been waiting for is just one call away.
Call 1-800-03-6386 or go online now at jacuzzibathremodel.com. We're leaving all installation costs with no interest and no payment for up to 1 year. Call 1-800-203-6386 today.
Why is Blackstone the world's #1 alternative asset manager? It starts with our 270 portfolio companies and nearly 13,000 real estate assets. This unmatched scale gives us a unique look inside the economy, allowing us to cut through the noise to see what's really happening on the ground in the real time. These powerful insights are how we turn what we deliver into proven performance for our investors in over 40 minutes. Blackstone, the world's #1 alternative asset manager.
Incredible quarter that General Motors reporting yesterday morning. Stock was done very well long term. It the last 12 months is up over 50%, but pretty much all of it even for second half of 2025. Year to date, it was only up 1%. How many minutes you're watching expecting to get Fed rate cuts? And I thought I was one of those people. And those are get dealer ladies because they make it cheaper to get financing when you buy it upfront. But we have no rate cuts. And instead of that, explore the landing for the spiking of oil prices and long-term interest rates set by the bond market. Rate increase agenda. When the war wound down in April, Jim was bouncing out comeback. But since once started shooting again last month, look at that. Fell from 85 to 75, where it was today. Wait for you to very important. Fortunately, when Jim and Clinton yesterday, they shot the lock down. And the stock shot up 5%, put back on another 3% today. Yet this company closed the stock web and keep putting up nearly 2% growth, while the reverse ball climbing there. They earned $3.57 per share. People expect them to earn $3.19. At 41% earnings growth year-over-year plus. Thanks. And you mostly look into the 5-day big margins and more margin growth when it comes to the complicated one-off earnings report. The normal management range for full year forecast for the second straight quarter. Picking up the stock for another free tax flow and earnings per share. Now here's the key. At the start of the year, GM would earn $11 to $13 per share. After the first quarter, they went to $11.50 to $13.50. Now they're saying $12 to $14 and the $13 midpoint. Get this, will represent a 26% increase from last year. James Goldquarter driven by its core North America. With earnings for interest and taxes up almost 42%. In the figures again, it's all about much higher orange. On a conference call, the self-effacing CEO Mary Barr explained that, quote, customer demand in North America remains steady, including for our pickups and SUVs and pricing is consistent, end quote. He goes on to say, despite lower than target inventories for most senior share of the U.S. full-size pickup market stands more than 42% through the first half of the year. It's more than 10 percentage points above our close competitor. And we grew share year over year in both the second quarter and the first half, end quote. Wow. Honestly, GM rarely gets enough credit for the strength of the pickup truck business. The Ford F-150 has been the best-selling pickup in America for nearly 5 decades. Between the Chevrolet and GMC brands, it's been yesterday that it's on track to lead the industry full-size pickup. That's a great year. That's a long time. And the full-size SUVs can't remain we need a full line. It's Chevy Tahoe and Suburban. With the GMC Yukon XL, those SUV sales are 3 times the size of the nearest competitor, with very low incentives tight inventories. GM is on track to lead the industry in full-size SUV for the 52nd straight year. Of course, nobody's doing great, too. GM will remain number one total U.S. fleet sales, having one of its best first half in more than 5 years for fleet sales. That includes its highest government sales, 2009, and record full-size pickup sales driven by full commercial demand. Whereas their GM announced that it was scaling back its electric vehicle ambition, the company's taken cumulative charges of nearly $11 billion related to structuring, including $2.3 billion in reported and reported. But the move away from electrics is exactly what saved GM is wanting. But even though they've made this a much lower priority, which declared the American electric vehicle sales 50% larger, and GM explained the full strength of the business, there were a couple of things that stood out. First, GM is separating itself from the past, like it's a company with one strongest, key connectivity platform, and $1 million in revenues, 20% year over year. The revenue was up nearly 10% year over year. Some of that thanks to GM's Super Cruise semi-autonomous hands-free driver-assisted technology. Quarter recognized revenue with Super Cruise was up 70% year over year. Added about 70,000 used drivers. Second, GM continued being very competitive on pricing. The company said it had 3 consecutive years of pricing discipline. The turn is why they now have some of the lowest incentive spending in the industry. In order to worry you, because their pricing never got insanely out of hand anyway. Finally, GM has been aggressive about improving its cost structure. They've seen 70 basis points of total company margin expansion over the past few years. I know that doesn't sound like much until you realize that GM's major competitors have seen their margins shrink by 400 basis points over the same period. Get it? All told, everything seems to be going pretty well. Yeah, but the best part of this work back is that you can't find a lot to keep stock right now, right? You want its 8% gain over the last few days. It's been sold for 6.2 times the midpoint of full-year earnings forecast. Again, 6.2 pp. That's not the multiple you expect from a boom and bust cyclical business that's about to go for us. It's very simple, but its earnings are going higher, not lower. And I expect that to continue unless the war of the rain gets much more extreme. Then it will continue. The analysts covered this thing certainly expect more growth in 2027 to 2028. Now, if GM stock can get what we call re-rated higher just a little bit, the gains may be enormous. Even if it only starts trading at the time service based on next year, take a break, then they're going on dollar and change stock to go to $109. Complete remarkable change in money. And they still in the first half of the year, the stock is hot, macro forces makes it quite one. But bottom line, at a time when we're looking to reverse away from active to some degree,